So before you watch this podcast or listen to it, I'm gonna need you to read Extra Souls. Extra Souls is the comic written by me and drawn by Mimiyori, and it should all be available to read on our Twitter. Because this podcast has lots of spoilers for Extra Souls, and we fully talk about the twist. I fully explain it, so I'm gonna need you to read our comic Extra Souls. It's free to read on Mimiyori's Twitter, or if you want to give her money, you can join her Patreon, or you can join my Patreon, where it's also free to read. But I'm seriously gonna need you to read Extra Souls. All right? Thank you. I love you. All right. Let's go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Main Character Syndrome. I'm your host, Cheesymanfredo, aka Alfredo Morales, and with me here today, always, is my co-host, Julian. Say hi, Julian.
Hello. Longtime listeners will know that last intro was a spoiler for this episode.
Yeah, exactly. So good job. And watching that one before this one, congratulations.
Yeah.
And also, big thank you to House of Decline for being our guest in the last episode. We only had one guest on. He was great. He made a comic that made me really like think that I'm like, what the fuck am I doing with my comics? Shit. Fuck.
Are you talking about what's the pink one? Together.
Yeah. Together really
thought that was pretty good.
That was pretty good. That one made me cry, and I'm not even being ironic. I'm not even being like,
oh, well, I mean, I don't know if I thought it was that good, but but I liked it.
Well, because you have no soul. You have no soul, Ben Saint. That's why. And that's Ben's that's reoccurring. That's a reoccurring character, Ben Saint. He's not even a guest no more. He's too reoccurring to be considered a guest character. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's right.
It's like in the Late Show, whenever the main guy would refer to one of his producers, and it's like, yeah, they were there the whole time. I'm just acknowledging them now.
What's you're like one of those two. You're like the two other guys who hangs out at Moe's Tavern. You know who I'm talking about? Those like
Lenny and Carl.
No. There's two other guys who barely talk.
There's like a. I want to say he's like a balding guy with glasses who wears like a lumberjack outfit.
And there's like a guy with like a blue sweater. It's like two guys who just never talk. But
a guy with a blue sweater.
I think so. He has like a long nose.
Huh.
That's you.
We should ask the real Jims to do a history of the guy with the blue sweater.
And with us for the first time is Mimiyori. Say hello, Mimiyori.
Hello, I'm new to the gang, I guess.
Yeah.
I've never been here before, and I've never given you money, so I'm not a producer.
That's okay. You don't gotta give me money. It's fine. I used you for a very complicated scheme to fish out clout.
That's true.
And that scheme was called Extra Souls, baby.
Didn't Jesus teach his disciples to fish for clout? Didn't he say, stop fishing for fish, come with me, I'll teach you to fish for clout?
My disciples.
He really did say that.
I'll teach you to post top 10 lists.
Give a man a clout, he'll be popular for a day. Teach a man to fish for clout, he'll be popular at irregular intervals throughout the month. And isn't that what content creation is all about?
Exactly.
That's right, Cheesy. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Really seems like it.
Oh yeah.
So I read Extra Souls, and I asked you, "Hey, do I have the story right?" And then I listed off who I think was real, and you said, "I'll show you a diagram." But I think I was right. I got it.
I did want to talk about that before we go into because I was gonna because it's interesting. I did draw a couple of slides explaining the ending of Extra Souls, but for fans who don't know, for people who are listening, Extra Souls was this comic, and I've been mentioning it like on every other podcast I've been on. It's based on a short film that I tried to make like years ago, and it fell through because we ran out of money. And production just taking too long. It was like 3 years just on one short film, which is not worth it. And so we had to, just cancel it. I hold on to the script. Years later, I rewrote the script, kind of make it a little bit more tighter, a little bit more better. the intro wasn't in the original short film. I added that for the comic, and I've been just kind of like jumping from artist to artist to see who could draw it. A couple artists tried, and they didn't get too far because they're weak. They're weak
I had
artists.
no idea
That's
you
the
asked
only
other people
explanation.
to do that.
Are you saying Mimi wasn't your first choice?
Yeah,
No,
what
Mimi
the
wasn't
fuck?
my first choice. I'm sorry.
I'm curious, which of those prior participants was the David Lynch of this Dune adaptation pantheon?
I don't want to say. I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be mean to those artists because yeah, I know making a comic is hard. I know, geez, making a comic is so hard. But yeah, Mimiyori was my backup girl. I'm sorry to find out this way.
I'm sure you had your doubts within the time that I was working on it too.
I gotta say, I'm kind of shocked. I was kind of shocked when Cheesy was like, "Hey, it actually got done." Like, I'm not used to things succeeding.
I
too.
I had faith in you because like I decided after like maybe the second artist, I decided maybe I should choose someone who has drawn more than like 3 pages of their own personal comic. I think that was the golden ticket here.
Yeah, I have
serendipity, right?
Yeah.
I think I'm behind. I think I haven't read the new chapter. I think there's got to be
the new
at least one
chapter. I think I wanted to say really quick. I did learn a lot while drawing Extra Souls, and I think it actually improved serendipity. Like the newest chapter, it might not be super noticeable to everyone, but to me, I feel like I've gotten a lot better. So thank you for making me feel guilty to not finish it, to make me finish it, so I'll improve myself.
For making you guilty.
I enjoyed
horse.
reading Serendipity. I think I probably read it like a year or so ago, so I'm probably behind, but I liked it a lot. I didn't cry, which makes it exactly as good as Together.
True, and
True.
It's exactly as pink as Together too. There's a lot of pink in Serendipity.
Yeah.
On the covers,
there's a theme developing.
there's
Happy
theme,
Pride
yeah.
Month! Happy Pride Month, everyone!
Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride
We
Month.
need to get one of those comic skate guys to read Together and Serendipity so we can get like a pink trend going in comics. Like,
I'm thinking,
you know how people are always complaining about how pink video games are nowadays?
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay. Video games pink? God, man, maybe I should play more video games. Pink is like unironically my favorite color.
It's pretty good.
Breaking
as
gender norms. I'm friends with like one comic skate guy, mostly because like he's kind of crazy. Like he kind of talks like a psycho almost.
You said a comic skate guy?
Yeah, one comic skate guy.
Those are like they're like Gamergate but for comics, right? They're just like
basically
keep comics. I don't know what. Keep comics racist. I mean, what's their battle cry?
Keep the woke out of the comics.
Get the woke out of the comic.
Double down and claim that there are shadowy people influencing comics. We need to get them out of comics.
They saw Miss Marvel as a young teenage Muslim girl, and they're like, why can't she be an adult blonde with big titties instead, Marvel? Huh? And they're like, that's a problem, they said. I'm like not necessarily buddies, but mutuals with this one guy who's kind of like, he feels too much like a psycho to be like I don't know. I could see him easily like alienating everyone around him, and I think that's my favorite kind of like right wingers.
That's what I tell people. That's what I tell people about you. I was gonna say that's what I tell people about you, Cheesy, when they ask me about you.
No, I mean Cheesy makes out there tweets sometimes, but you're a very down to earth dude. It's just
thank you.
I don't know. You got your persona. You got your big comic artist hatred persona in it.
I went to a party in LA on Saturday, and that's not a joke. And as I was walking by and talking to people, it was just mostly filled with streamers that I've never heard of. Even the guy's house that we were at, like he's a popular streamer. I never heard of him, but he had a silver play button in his room. So I'm like, so he must be popular in a specific sphere. And people were like,
how did you get invited to a streamer party? I
had mutuals with this one artist, and she had just moved to LA with these like streamers, and she's like, we're having a housewarming party. And I'm like, and at 9, and I'm like, I technically live close enough to LA. It's only 2 hours away, right? and I went, and it was fun, but it was a big mistake because I'm paying for it now. Not because of like too much partying or whatnot, but I think that trip back and forth was the final nail on the coffin for my car. Because when I came back, and literally kind of like the next day, a buddy of mine was getting top surgery. Happy Pride, and Happy Pride, and when we were driving to go pick him up from the surgery, the car kind of like shut down for a second, and I'm like, uh-oh, and I turned it back on, and I was like, okay, that was kind of scary. I hope it doesn't do that again. And then later when we were driving back on the highway, it started smoking, and I'm like, oh no, and put it to the side of the road. And I think like just something in the car finally was like,
the car
fuck.
did not want it to be a Happy Pride.
The car was homophobic. Yeah, the car was homophobic. And was like, nah, not gonna let us have a happy ending. So we veered out the road and we all died.
Tragic.
So now it was just a whole day of trying to figure out what's wrong with my car, moving my car. I got lucky a couple times. I got like free towing twice in a row. Which is it's never heard of. I've never heard of anyone being able to pull that off. Aside from that, I still got a ticket because I had to leave my car somewhere.
Did you like wink your eyelashes at them?
I gave them a copy of McPugliacci.
Yeah.
I saw their Grimace hat that they had in their car, and I'm like, yeah, big Grimace fan you are. And then he's like, yeah, but I wish there was pieces of media that would portray Grimace as more like a dark kind of hero. It was a little bit more complicated. And I'm like, oh, well, I got just a story for you, buddy.
What a coincidence.
What a big coincidence. So yeah, that went down. I don't know. What the fuck did I say this story again?
Because you were at a party in LA. Yes,
I was at the party at LA. And people were like introducing to each other by their streamer names. And I was thinking like, should I go to people and shake people's hand and be like, hey, what's poppin', Cheesymanfredo? Hey, how you doing, Cheesymanfredo? And
big comic artist.
Big Twitter artist.
That's
former big Twitter artist. I've learned the error of my ways. There was just mostly streamers there. Although two YouTubers I identified were a Comment Etiquette. You guys know Comment Etiquette?
Yeah.
I think so.
That rings a bell.
Big Money Salvia.
Yeah, that guy.
Oh, wait, not YouTube Etiquette?
Is it
the same guy?
Internet Etiquette.
Internet Etiquette.
Yeah.
I used to confuse that guy with the Internet Aristocrat.
Oh, no.
Thankfully not the same.
Internet Aristocrat was Mr. Medicare.
I know.
Yeah.
But Comment Etiquette was he's a white guy, blonde beard, blonde hair. He was pretty chill. And also I spotted Noah Samson at the party too, and I was like, "Whoa, that's so weird." I didn't get a chance to talk to him. I don't even know what the
I don't know who that is.
He's like a bread tuber.
Oh, cool.
He's part of the he's like the group. He's part of the group of bread tubers that have like a beef with Vosh. And
is he friends with Bad Empanada?
No, I don't think so. I don't know who's still friends with Bad.
Is he friends with FD Signify?
Yes,
who is
they're buddies. Yes, they're buddies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I
Sure.
and as I walked by him, I'm like, hey, how you doing, man? Big fan. And he like fist bumped him, and then I whispered in his ear, "Fuck Vosh." And I walked away.
I hadn't watched Vosh in like over a year, and then one of his videos showed up on my For You page, and I clicked on it because it was a somewhat interesting title, and I saw that he cut his hair off, and I was like, when did he do that? And I didn't know how to feel about it. What do you guys think about Vosh's new haircut? Because I don't know if I like it or if I don't.
I haven't seen it.
Happy to report that I have not seen Vosh's new haircut.
Okay,
I'm clean from Vosh. I haven't watched him since like 2020.
Vosh sober.
I'm like Vosh. I'm no longer a Nazi rapist no more. I don't need to watch him. I saw a Photoshop picture of. Oh wait, I think I found it. I'm pretty sure this is like an edit, but it's like, oh, Vosh without his beard, and he looks like the actor Mike Myers.
wait, let me see.
Hold up,
you didn't? No, never.
Wait, hold up, I found it. I think, yep, it's this picture right here.
Is that real?
No, I don't think it's real. I think he still has his beard. It'd be a dumb move to shave it off because it's too much of his like silhouette, you know, and
Well, that's what I was
it's part of the
surprised about.
brand.
That's what I was surprised about the haircut because he's got his little ponytail thing, and I was confused. But whatever.
Yeah, he lost the ponytail.
Is this what he looks like now? He looks fine.
Yeah.
He
looks
still,
fine.
He still looks like Vosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a Vosh enemy. Tried to invite him on the podcast. He said no. You're gay.
I thought
He
you
didn't
liked.
say
I
that
thought you
part.
liked Vosh.
Vosh is all right. I don't even hate. I don't really hate no like left tuber or bread tuber. Okay, there might be one I do hate, but I can't.
Is there
think
one
of
I
their
hate?
name.
I'm trying to think if there's one I hate.
I hate.
I mean,
I just have kind of-
Hassan's
I just-
annoying, right? Or
I just have.
Hassan
It's kind
is
of
the-
annoying. I
Hassan
don't
is like
hate
the-
him.
I don't hate Hassan. I know he's like
I
the
would-
safe guy to call annoying.
I
yeah.
have
Yeah.
kind of just sort of a low baseline level like disdain for all of them. I don't know if it rises to the hate.
I think I'm starting to think that like should these streamers
Oh,
be
I
earning this much
kinda-
money?
I don't know if she's even a bread tuber, but I kind of don't like Abigail Thorne very much. I get bad vibes
she,
from Abigail
is
Thorne.
she
No idea.
philosophy
Yeah, theater
too?
kid vibes.
That's philosophy tube, big theater kid vibes, and it was before the transition.
Yeah.
I stopped watching because of that one video that ends with her trotting out on a horse and being like, "Yeah, I'm technically British nobility, but like I don't make a big deal about it or anything." Like, I think
Yeah,
I don't
that
like
is theater
this
kid.
person. I don't like it anymore.
It's
Also, I realized I wasn't learning anything. I realized there was like very little educational content.
yeah,
Less and less
true.
as time was going on. So I gave up. So that maybe her, but that's like the only one.
She's what was you guys ever heard about the rumor that there's like she used to be buddies with like ContraPoints but not anymore. And
I do
she's-
remember
she's,
that.
Oh yes,
she's
I know
like
what you're gonna say.
she's like very quiet about it, and she's all like, "Yeah, I'm happy she transitioned, but I don't want that person in my life anymore." And it's just a rumor because I think Contra probably talked about like a friend she trusted like sexually like assaulting her, and like
Yes,
people
I heard about this, and
And-
it's just a theory, a game theory.
a gay theory. Happy
gay-
Pride,
it is.
everyone.
It is
Yeah,
interesting,
It all lines
fascinating,
up.
concerning. Looking into it.
Let's talk about real stuff. So Extra Souls, yeah, I got Mimiyori because actually the one thing that made me really convinced you like, okay, I think Mimiyori might be the person to go with this was you drew like a short like horror comic, or I don't even know if I call it a horror comic, but you drew kind of like a dark story for your Patreon, and it was about the girl who could like
Oh,
bend
yeah.
spoons.
That
Yeah.
was really so that was a kind of experiment I was doing where I was trying to do these mini comics like every month, but then I kind of
Mhm.
bailed because I realized I didn't really have good ideas.
No, that's
But
fine.
yeah, I'm glad you liked that because I was honestly surprised you chose me. I mean, I wasn't your first choice, but because my art style is kind of like more cutesy, and I'm like, this
Right.
story kind of fits a more realistic, like gritty art style. But I guess
Mhm.
maybe the contrast would be interesting. I don't know.
I
I'm a
think
big supporter of the contrasts. Like, I'm still sore from years ago. I tried to get my siblings to team up with me for a Final Fantasy adaptation where they're all drawn like really cartoony. And they all said, that's a stupid idea. Don't do that. And we never did it. Now Final Fantasy VII is popular again. And where's my super serious story with chibi art comic? It doesn't
That sounds
exist.
Yeah.
sick.
Fuck you guys.
Yeah, exactly. You
Mm.
missed out on SAO. What was it called? The fucking when people search up.
Search engine optimization.
Yeah, that kind of happened to me when Izzy talked about kind of like canceled like toy lines, and she mentioned the Eddie Adams comic Pinky and Pepper Forever. My interviews and episodes with Eddie Adams like got a boost in views after that video dropped because everyone was looking up Eddie Adams.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
Yeah, that's how that works. Maybe a part of me was thinking like maybe we could have had like a good contrast if like maybe I drew the monster guy and then you drew everything else, and that maybe could have thrown people off. You know.
Yeah, that could have been interesting.
Hmm.
I mean, obviously, I was just gonna do whatever you wanted to do because I mean, it's your story, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I definitely had to reach to draw that kind of thing because I that's not really my area.
Yeah, you kind of have to
And
get out of your comfort zone.
I
Yeah.
had my boyfriend Matthew pose for multiple shots because he's like a dude. He's like a big dude,
Yeah,
and I
he's
can't
a
really
guy.
draw that. So
No, I got you. It did seem like I remember. I remember when I got those first. When I got kind of like the last image, and I looked back on the first one of the monster guy. And I'm like, oh yeah, you kind of changed a lot. The first guy the first time the guy shows up, he looks a little cutesy.
yeah, I had to fix it.
No, but I mean, it came out. No, I think you did good. I think the real meat is the kind of the mystery of Extra Souls. I think you did a pretty good job of like making the girls like blend into each other. So they
I really liked they look, it's funny, they're kind of like they all kind of have like a sort of array of like traits, and some of them kind of share certain traits, almost like they were built in like a dress up thing. And like some of them have kind of the same hair or kind of the same clothes or something. And the fact that like some of them have similar names, and I think it's okay. Is it one of them mentions Kiana like at the very? Is it Kiana? And then but Kiana's not actually there.
Yeah.
Kiana's the one who's like casually mentioned at the start, like a handful of times. Even like moments that like later they reference, like, oh, Kiana said this, and it's like, okay, yeah, well, that is kind of like in the moment of like this reality we're in, where she would have probably, if she was there, would have mentioned that at that point. Right. It was kind of like, yeah, I really do. I really do. I remember when you posted on your Patreon, Mimiyori, you said something about like, read the story all the way through. I know you're gonna be tempted to just want to go right back to like to see like, okay, well, who was there, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's I was really happy to kind of hear that, because I remember when I first wrote the script back in my film class. I showed it to a buddy of mine who was reading it, and then I noticed that once he got towards the end, he kind of flipped it back and he reread like the middle of it, because he's like, he was kind of like, okay, who was there, right?
It is tempting to do that, and I warned. I mean, I had Dylan, who also lives with us, read it, and I told him like, hey, read it all the way through, and then you can reread it and go back and kind of double check. But I think it makes it better to have no idea what the fuck's going on. With
I admit, I was flipping back.
No,
I was
fine.
flipping back, being like,
that's cool. It's like interactive, you know, or kind of like
that's true.
Kind of like when you choose the wrong ending and you choose your own adventure, you want to go back and see. All right, well,
there's a mechanic in those Batman Arkham games where you can scrub through a crime scene to like find key points and like before someone died. That was my first thought upon reading it.
And the whole aspect of like, because nothing at the start of the story like tells you to keep track of the number of girls.
Yeah, you wouldn't even be thinking about it. You like remembering which one has which name. I like. I mean, well, because you told me like the plot of the story, I was kind of thinking about it. But otherwise, I probably wouldn't have even. I would have probably just mentally been like, oh, Kiana, Kyra, I don't care. Like, whatever.
Right. No, yeah, I because like I feel like the first half feels very like I'm shrugging my dick out here. I feel like the first half is very
what are their names? Kiana, Laura.
It's Lana, Laura, Katie, Kyra, May, and then spoilers, Kiana is the extra. Well, to like the reader, Kiana would technically be the extra.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say, I don't know how relevant this is to what you were trying to go for, but when you first sent me the character designs, you sent like a chart of their dynamic and like how they interact with each other, like, and I don't know how relevant that is to like what you wanted to say with the story.
Not too much. I feel like you probably just needed the script. Like that picture I think was probably kind of much older because it was like a screenshot from a sketchbook. So so it wasn't.
Well, here I'll send it really quick in VC, but it basically was like showing the dynamic, which I think is interesting context for the reader, because especially that May is supposed to be this newcomer to the friend group,
Yeah, she is.
which
So that
you don't really get in the story, and that kind of makes more sense, like why they kind of turned on her so quick at the end.
right.
I mean, it makes sense, but
There's a couple of like details that also I don't like explain fully. Like, oh, they're all wearing hoodies, and in my head, I'm like, because they're like in a team, they're like in a sports team together. And May would have been like the new member, and they're kind of like the friend group that hangs out after games, right?
yeah.
Yeah. And Kyra was actually just a repurposed like design from Bongo and Luna. There's another character in Bongo and Luna named Kyra who's a zombie who has like that same hairstyle, right? I just kind of like that hairstyle. And I have a friend in real life named Kyra who's cool, who's was very supportive of all the comics that I made since like high school. And yeah,
I thought you were gonna say she was supportive of the comics you made of her, like, specifically.
She noticed her name in Bongo Luna, and she's like, "Hey, you put my name in there." I'm like, "Yeah, because I like the name Kyra. I think Kyra's a pretty nice name. No homo." Yeah. Right. Exactly. And I might have told a couple of people before, but the premise was, I think I got the original premise because the Oh, Ben, have you ever seen the actual like storm drain the story is based on? Because there's a real storm drain that like looks like this, and it's I did like a posed in front of it as Pasta the Clown one time.
I mean, I feel like there are storm drains that look like this. I've seen such drains.
I've seen such drains on society.
I feel like there's a movie. I'm thinking of a movie where people hang out in a storm drain. I don't remember what movie it is.
It does sound like a movie. Actually,
am I thinking of not Drive? What's the one with? Oh no, the kid who was in Looper. Where he smokes the cigarettes and they all talk weird. Fuck, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah.
Okay,
sorry, I gotta look it up.
The most I've ever seen of storm drains in media is like in cartoon pornography.
What?
What?
Yeah, you're reading a porn and then suddenly they're in a storm
watching
drain.
like Marge Simpson getting railed in a fucking storm drain or something. What are you talking about?
Well, you'll get arrested if you jerk off to Simpsons porn. Didn't you hear that? Did you hear that story about the kid who was arrested for Simpsons porn?
Right, exactly.
The One Fear comic meme is based on.
It comes true. Well, no, the comic meme pre-exists that news article.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's like an ancient. That's like an ancient meme.
Yeah, it was written like on a napkin too. If you look at it,
and then it came true.
Second.
Like 20 years later.
That's horrible.
Brick. The movie I'm thinking of is Brick.
Oh, Brick was.
I feel like there's a storm drain in Brick.
Brick was the first film by what's the name of the director? Everyone hates him, even though he's not bad at all. He did The Last Jedi. What's his name? Like a white guy.
Rian Johnson.
Yeah, Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, Brick was the first film.
I knew that. Yeah. I love Brick. I haven't seen his Star Wars.
Pretty cool.
I didn't know how to draw graffiti at all, and I tried.
That's fine.
I tried multiple times, and I'm like, you know what?
Don't worry about it.
I just can't do this one. So
it's fine. It's
no
kind
graffiti.
It is kind of tough, but I mean, as long as they know it's a storm drain. Yeah. Actually, maybe the fact that there isn't graffiti makes it kind of freakier because if there is graffiti, that implies that people have safely gone through it and back.
Yeah.
Right. If there's no graffiti, that means no one's been here.
Do you guys watch Noah Caldwell-Gervais?
Yeah.
His new, I think his newest video where it's like a travelogue across, I think it's the Lincoln Highway, or maybe it's another video. Whatever. There's one where he stops at this it's like an abandoned like military, it's like an army outpost, but it's like concrete bunker like set into a hill and it's completely abandoned.
It's like an igloo shape.
Something like that. He's wandering, it's just these dark lightless concrete tunnels and they're just covered with graffiti. And it's like a maze. It's like a maze you could get lost in and die in the pitch blackness. That's like really scary.
Sequel comic.
Yeah. The Extra Souls 2, Extra Harder.
Extra Harder.
Even more souls.
Yeah.
Even more souls.
Superfluous souls.
May's about to be killed, but then a lasso ties up the bandage monster, and he's like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "I'm Cowboy May from the Cowboy dimension.
Dude.
We need your help to stop the multiversal
Into the extra
threat."
souls verse.
Into the extra souls verse. So I remember I got the idea, and I got the idea from a story from JoJo. Actually, that was like kind of the original germ of this idea.
If I tell Matthew that, he's gonna fucking freak out. So.
I'm surprised. Wait, how far into the JoJo manga has Matthew read through?
Matthew has, I believe he's finished the entire like what's out. Like I think he may have mentioned that before, but also he's a piece of shit because I keep trying to get him to read Extra Souls and sit down, but he keeps forgetting. So he actually hasn't read it yet. So once he reads it, he'll probably mention that, and I'll let you know. Exactly.
You know what?
So
Just for that, I won't have him on guest on. He can't be on the guest on main character syndrome until he reads Extra Soul. That's the rule.
I'll let him know.
Thank you. But if he read it, he probably would have figured out that there is a storyline in JoJo Part 6 where it basically, because that's like a woman's prison. They go to like I think a farm or something because they're gonna like do like labor, and then when they get to the farm, they realize like something spooky happens, and then they realize, wait a second, there's an extra person here, and they're all trying to figure out who the extra person was because they're like a stand user and they gotta defeat them, right? And I thought like, okay, same premise, but there's no stand, so they're at the fucking mercy. And because I really did like the whole like, oh, who was there, who wasn't, like kind of almost courtroom drama-esque kind of like back and forth, you know. Only more like kind of like, you know, kind of rugged and impromptu, you know. There's like little signs of them being part of a sports team when like Lana's the one who's like, all right, well, we're gonna figure this out, guys, because this is spooky.
And it's obvious that Lana's like the leader of the group because she's the driver. She's the one who kind of, I mean, Laura sways the opinion of them to go in there, but Lana's the one who is like, no, I'm not going in. Has
definitely
some opinions and shit.
Yeah, exactly. She's not yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's how I kind of like, yeah, that's how I thought of her. What are you gonna say, Ben?
Oh God. Oh fuck. What was I gonna say? When was I gonna say it?
I don't know.
Oh no.
JoJo.
I think I was going to say, one, I've only read the first part of JoJo. I want to read it soon, but I only got through the first section of it. Second, I wanted to say it's sort of like a test. Like when you get through the first part and you get to the second part of Extra Souls, and it's like, okay, how closely were you paying attention?
Yeah.
Right.
You fucked up. It puts you in it's ludonarrative assonance, ludonarrative resonance, because it puts you right there with these girls who are also high, smoking weed. They don't know what's going on. They don't know who's real and who's fake. Neither do you. You're just like them.
That reminds me, I made a joke to my friend that I think the premise of the story is that smoking weed is bad. And it makes bad things happen to you. You know, as soon as you smoke the dope,
what
you're
if
gonna
you
get chased by a monster.
Reefer madness, a classic case of reefer madness.
Exactly.
What if, like, that's the thing, when you're on drugs, you're not alert, and what if you fall into an alternate reality that's just ever so slightly different, but you're too high enough to catch that, like, slight difference, you know, and that's scary.
Exactly.
You know? Right, that's dangerous.
Wait a minute.
What
was in those blunts, Laura?
Oh, I didn't even...
What?
Wait, they come out the other side, don't they?
Yeah. They
come out the other side, and there's a switcheroo.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Really?
Didn't even occur to me. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's in my chart. I'm gonna because when this podcast drops, Mimiyori will not have, by the time this podcast drops, not all the pages will be out. So I was gonna I just might do it right now if you want me to explain what exactly is going on in Extra Souls. I'm gonna
wait.
because
How
Well,
many pages?
I think you should let me and Ben and perhaps
Oh,
even
yeah,
Julian
true.
explain what we think happened.
What do you-
Perhaps
what do
even
you
the
think?
humble Julian can participate.
Perhaps even
yeah,
Julian.
yeah.
yeah.
No, Julian can
Okay,
go first. Julian can go first.
tell me what you guys think. Yeah. What was that? What was that?
I-
What was that on? What was I smoking?
Wait, I actually don't have the script, like the comic, in front of me. Is there like a download? I don't know where I saved it. I can't find it.
I could. I'll relink it.
Relink me, because I guess I lost my files.
Yeah, it would take me a second.
All right.
Okay.
Here's a link. See if that works. You might have to download it again. Well, before you do that,
yeah. Okay, that's fine.
I was gonna talk about the kind of like little changes that Extra Souls went to. Originally, the original premise, because after I read that JoJo chapter, the funny thing about JoJo is there's like so many like good, like very like sprinkles of like, oh, this might make a good horror premise if it wasn't part of JoJo. So there's a lot of good ideas in that manga. That being said, the original premise I was thinking was about like maybe a group of boys out in the desert because like they spotted like some sort of alien something craft crash, and they go out into the desert and they don't find it. But as they walk back, they realize, wait a second, there's an extra guy here, and like they're trying to figure out who it is. And I was like, but at the time I was making short film, and I'm like, damn, but when am I gonna get a chance to be in the desert, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And but then one day I hanged out with some buddies, and they showed me the storm drain, and we're just smoking weed there, and I'm like, oh, we found these tunnels too. And I'm like, oh, what if it just took place here? And then I just built the rest of the story around that.
And then you're like, what if they were cute girls?
Yeah,
instead?
exactly. Yeah, exactly. What if they were cute girls?
Which
instead?
improves every story, I think.
Yeah,
It's true.
I just love seeing girls in danger. Ooh, when girls are endangered. Oh, it's so cute. It's so cute when girls are endangered. Oh.
Wait a second.
That is a good point that they go through the other side, because there is a panel where I got confused. They see the guy on the ground and they run away, but then the guy is in front of them.
Yeah.
And so I'm like,
then when they were in the car, they
going?
say there were two guys.
Yeah,
there was the same guy, but there were two of them.
Yeah.
And they say, yes, there were two of the same guy. Okay.
Yeah. There's
Well,
yeah.
Because the drain is like a straight line, it's hard. It was hard for, I'm sure, Cheesy and then also me to show that they're going back and forth.
Yeah.
Because of the way a comic is like drawn. But if you pay attention to the organization of the girls, the one who's in front changes. So
yeah, because it was Laura at the front at the beginning, then they raced back, then it was May, and then they raced the other way, but the fucking the monster guy is like at that end too, right? And like so, actually, I'll just post the page here to kind of explain it.
Here's their initial marching order. Here's the party marching order.
Right, exactly.
On the way in,
with
the horny lip bite at the front.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they see the guy lying on the ground, and then he stands up, and then yes, here's their retreating order. Okay, we're gonna pick this apart with a toothpick.
Game theory.
Right.
We're gonna game theory. They're running forward.
Wait a second. This is the first time they run. Wait a second. Hold up.
Yes, this is the when they see the guy and then they immediately run away.
Wait, fuck me, did you draw it wrong? Fuck.
Fuck.
Maybe they all looped around for that one.
Wait, hold up. Let me.
And then as they leave the tunnel, it looks like. Well, then they see him again.
Oh wait,
and then they turn around again.
When they encounter him sleeping, or like he's just laying there because he's like literally making the same noise he makes when he's awake.
Wait, no. Sorry. He's laying there. Then they turn around. Then they're running away, and then he's in front of them, standing up.
Yeah.
And then this is after they turn around again.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Laura becomes the front again when he comes racing back down.
So did I not draw it wrong?
No, you drew it right. You drew it right.
Okay, good.
I'm reading it in the wrong order.
Ben was confusing me like the devil he is.
Were you reading it right to left?
I was reading it in
Manga.
normal American order.
Oh wait, is Is this Western? Is this Western style?
Yeah. Oh,
Crap.
never mind. But hold up, let me, because I have. There's this little bit, and this bit right here is like lifted straight from the original storyboard of the short film. Of this is how I would have shown like the little when the little like, and we kind of like the chaos of it, right? So he would have, like in this first page that I posted, the camera would have been over the shoulder of the girls as we see the guy racing, and then they would have been pushed back as the guy like races like kind of past the camera, and the camera would have kept on going down the tunnel. Like it would have just kept on moving, and then finally when he gets to the entrance, the girls re-enter back into frame, right? So we're not exactly sure what happened when the original like bandage monster like came at them, but the girls did manage to get out, right? And since it's also chaotic, it would have been so fast. We would have been.
Yeah, that scene would have been really fast.
Right, exactly. So we would have like been like very much like, yeah, we wouldn't question it too much. Like, oh, they all managed to get out, right? You know. Yeah.
And then I'm okay. This is then I guess they encounter him a third time, and I guess this must be the first one that was lying down has gotten up.
Yeah.
And then this is when they see him there, and then yeah. And then this guy's running.
Mm-hmm.
Which way is he running?
He's running right at them. He spotted them.
He's running at them.
I'll explain. I'll even like. I did kind of the Stephen King thing where I'm like, oh, this guy has lore too that is not relevant to the story, but I know why he's in there, like in my brain.
Yes, I see the camera goes past him. I understand everything now.
Right, exactly.
And then they definitely come out in the wrong order.
Yeah,
the order's reversed.
Exactly.
I understand. Well, it's not reversed. It's like mostly reversed. The two in the front have switched. I see.
While I'm drawing this, I spent many a night just thinking about it, and to be honest, I mean, even now I don't know exactly what happened, even though I'm the artist, illustrator. But I did think about it probably more than the average person would have time to think about it, since I've been working on this for like a year. I mean, my current theory is there's 2 or more different dimensions. I don't know if I feel like there might be more than 2, but I feel like you were trying to get across at least 2 because of the 2 tunnels.
Yes.
And obviously one of the parallel universes has one bandaged homeless guy and the other one has the different one. And then there's 2 groups of girls, one group with Kiana and one group with May. And they kind of get mixed up. But then there's also the 2 weeks later thing where it was just Kiana and Laura, who went by themselves, which is also mixed in there. And then they all kind of just run around and they come out the wrong end. Is basically what I think happened. But then you sent me something about, because then it's like, well, why is there this fucking homeless guy? Because, I mean, it adds a fear factor. But then you told me something about why he's there, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I see. They go in the right side, and the right side has the water coming out of it, and it seems like they also come out the right side again with the water coming out of it. So it's not like I was looking if they would like switch sides, and no, they don't. So I don't know.
I might have had a little thought about the order of like which side of the tunnels they came out of, but then I think I might have slipped my mind in that moment. There was that whole bit where she's all like, wait a second, was there like one tunnel last time I was here, right? Which is which kind of ties back to like the beginning of the intro. But you guys heard Mimiyori's little theory. Do you guys what you guys thinking very close to what Mimiyori like was thinking?
I wasn't thinking about different dimensions at all.
Yeah,
I was just thinking there were doppelgangers.
Yeah,
there were doppelgangers that live in the tunnel.
That's freaky.
Yeah,
that's freaky. That's like what's that movie? The movie with the
body snatchers.
No, the new one that came out where like they live underground.
Us.
Yeah, Us.
Yeah. Oh, I love Us.
Oh,
Us was
yeah,
great.
yeah.
I'm gonna say this. Something that's kind of reoccurring in my. I don't know if you guys seen my first short film that I made. But I kind of
made a short film.
Oh yeah, I made one in high school, and then I made one out of high school that got into a couple of film festivals, and people liked it. But basically the premise, and it's kind of just like Extra Souls but longer, but it's two dudes instead. But basically the premise is these two roommates, and one of them sees that he sleepwalks, and he's all like, "Hey, you were sleepwalking last night." And he's all like, "Yo, that's cool. You should record me and see if I do it again tonight." And he does it again tonight. And while he's sleepwalking, he's like throwing all these chemicals around the house. And he was given explicit instructions not to wake him up no matter what he's doing. And he's throwing all these chemicals, and then he like lights a match. And then he's like, "Oh shit!" Like he's got to stop him. He's gonna burn down the house. So he yells out his name, like he says, like David, so he could wake up, right? But then out of nowhere, his roommate comes out of his room, right? So the guy who was sleepwalking wasn't him; it was someone who looked like him. And then he just drops the match, right? So
That's
what
cool.
what he witnessed earlier was just like a weird doppelganger walking around the house pretending or maybe was sleepwalking, just doing all this shit while his actual roommate was just in his room asleep, right? And this is that short film.
Oh,
yeah,
I haven't seen this either.
Yeah, it's part of ancient history. It's like it literally came out a year before the Trump presidency. And
the year everything changed.
Pre-Trump, yeah,
Back in
exactly.
the day.
Pre-Trump.
Back in the day.
Yeah, pre-Trump. Yeah, exactly. And then after this, I was working on two other that also had to cancel. But I am a big sucker for kind of like, oh, there's a doppelganger. Oh, there's an alternate reality, right?
Yeah.
Especially, but not kind of like in the multiverse big Marvel way. I mean, that's fine. I have no problem with that. The Spider-Verse movies are good, yada yada. But I kind of like it when it's like, what if this happened to like a mundane person? Wouldn't that be fucking freaky? And I think I think where the original concept of there being like a doppelganger just out of nowhere was you guys ever heard of the webcomic Womp? It's like a fat guy who's like big and round, and he's like, "Oh, I'm big and round and pathetic." Oh, right.
Those comics are funny.
No, I've never seen that.
I know Womp.
For probably like a handful of like one of the good of those like of that era, because that would have been the Control Alt Delete era too.
I think it was a little bit post.
Yeah,
that. I think it's kind of a response to comics where the protagonists are just like they're just either thinly veiled author inserts, or they're just literally are the authors.
Yeah,
and I remember people saying like, yeah, you would think like Womp is it sounds on paper like it's one of those, because like the protagonist is like this insert of the author, and he has like the perfect life, and he's like has this like this sexy like whatever who's like obsessed with him or whatever. But it's the comic is just about what a like pathetic little worm he is.
Right, exactly. Pretty funny comic.
I don't know if you've
and
ever.
One of my favorite Womp comics.
I made a little.
Wait, what was Mimiyori saying?
Sorry. I thought I was. I don't know if you've watched my like little animation thing on my channel, but I made like a little mini animation called Doppelganger about a dream I had where there was a different version of me trying to kill me.
Oh wow!
So I also am very intrigued by that concept.
Yeah, doppelgangers are great. It's a very like, you know, it's very interesting. And I was gonna mention about the one WAP comic that kind of stuck with me. Ever since I was like younger, and probably was like also the little germ of all these other story ideas I had was there was a WAP comic where he's like, "Come on, man, you don't gotta be scared to look outside your window at night. I mean, what's the worst thing that could be out there?" And he opens the window, and this comic was like a GIF. So for a split second, it was him out there, and then it disappears. And I was like, "Oh shit!" I always thought that was just freaky. I'd like, "Oh fuck!" Because what was the last thing you think that'd be out there? You know, not you, because you're inside the fucking house.
Do you remember that? You remember that like Korean comic that it was a horror comic, and when you would scroll down to read the panels, and then when you got to a certain panel,
it would jump scare you.
The fucking HTML like auto scrolled the screen down, so it like forced you to see the sequence really fast, and it could make a sound.
Yeah, it scared
that shit.
Scared the poop out of me. Yeah. Okay, wait.
I remember reading that at my grandma's house.
I was gonna say for Mimiyori's theory, did you guys have similar theories? I know Ben said doppelgangers, which is funny, but he's wrong. But
when I say doppelgangers, I mean like the D&D sense. Like there's a creature that becomes a
skinwalker,
mimic of a person. Yeah.
I don't know. Someone in the comments tell me if skinwalker is still an okay term. I heard people say it's not an okay term. But the Fleshgeist, I think, is like the safe rebranding of the name.
What's wrong with skinwalker? Does it have spiritual significance?
Yeah, it's like
a
Native American legend or something.
It's funny. I very much don't believe in the supernatural. So when people post their videos of like, oh, we spotted one, and it's just like they heard in the woods someone say something like hello, and I'm like, I'm willing to bet it's just a crow. They just learned hello from a passing person or something, because those
animals make weird fucking noises at night, and it's scary.
You know what's funny is that the majority of people don't know what wild animals sound like, so they're like, "Oh, is that a ghoul?" Like, no, that's just like an animal.
Is it a ghoul? That's always my first thought. That's gotta be a ghoul.
That sounds
That's a
very.
ghoul if I ever heard one.
The last time wasn't a ghoul, but that sound right there, classic ghoul.
Classic ghoul.
Tony Soprano,
who doesn't love a good
enters
ghoul?
A forest, was that a gabagool?
Classic goblin, maybe a ghoul, maybe a goblin ghoul like variant mix. But
God, just God, let's hope that the ghouls and the goblins haven't teamed up, put their differences aside and teamed up.
But okay, you with Julia, did you did you have a similar theory? What did you think?
I honestly hadn't put too much thought into it. I kind of just took it as a matter of fact. Mm-hmm. I hadn't thought like, oh, why is this happening?
Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that, like, I was kind of scared that it would come off as too confusing. Like, I feel like I gave people enough clues and not like didn't spell anything out, you know? Because I want it to be kind of like, I mean, I think the fact that people are willing to flip back means that, okay, they probably think, oh, there probably was a shitload of clues, I just missed them, and then they flip back, you know?
Well, the person on my Patreon who commented on the post got that it was supposed to be like alternate dimensions, so I think that's a pretty good sign that people are gonna
I'll say this, Mimiyori, yeah, you kind of like hit it on the money of what exactly is going on.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna explain.
I would hope so.
Yeah, good. Yeah, as the artist, I mean, you did a good job of just doing what you were told anyway, so that works out. But here's I have four.
You know who else? You know who else did a great job doing what they were told? The Nazis.
Oh wow!
So what does that say?
I don't know. I gotta go reflect.
Nazis took orders. Mimiyori took orders. Interesting. Meta. You know, it's funny. I met my buddy's roommate.
We gotta cut this out so I don't lose my Among Us Girl clout on Twitter.
Oh yeah, true. Exactly.
Get canceled.
Among Us Girls go Nazi. Actually, that'd probably be the perfect. It'd be the perfect time now because there's a lot of Nazis on Twitter now. So.
Yeah. Been waiting for my chance. Let's go. Yeah.
What was he gonna say? Okay, yeah, let me just bust out the charts that I've made.
I'm very curious to see this, actually.
It's four images, so it could fit it. So eventually when I make it into a Twitter post, it fits perfectly. But here's the first image.
Okay.
So this first image that's right here, it says before the start of the story. There's like a Laura A from Dimension A, and she comes from the dimension that has like the two
so it's
tunnels.
Like a penis tube.
Yeah, it's like a penis tube, if you will. It's a metaphor for
the
births.
Balls and then the
So this all happens before the start of the story. So it's like Laura A enters the alternate reality tunnel, and then Laura B from another dimension also enters at the same time. Laura B manages to just get on the other side fine. She doesn't encounter the bandage man, and we don't see that, but we do see the opening of Extra Soul is like the death of Laura A, right? Because she's chased out by the bandage man, right? So that's like the start of the story.
Okay.
And then so anyway, and this next part, which is kind of funny, is that Laura B doesn't know she's in an alternate reality. Because it's literally the same. Like nothing has changed.
Yeah.
Except for the number of holes that are on that tunnel. That's it. Right?
So when she says there was only one hole, like she actually does think there was only one hole.
Because she saw there was one hole there last time. and yeah,
I know, but then she says she was just kidding.
But maybe she just thought she just didn't remember it right.
Yeah, exactly. Because she kind of doesn't. Yeah, because I mean, later when they have their whole little discussion, she kind of like doubts her memories a little bit, and she kind of like agrees with like what May tells her.
I guess she doesn't actually say she was just kidding. She just says boo.
Right, exactly.
Says,
yeah,
oh, I believed you.
Yeah, so Laura B just casually joins like the friend group of Laura A, and they like she doesn't notice. Yeah, and they don't notice either because she's exactly the same. Anyway, so after they smoke weed, the we're just gonna call it the Dimension A group goes into the tunnel at the same time a Dimension C group that is exactly the same group. The only difference is that because in Dimension A universe, Kiana is grounded, so that's why she's not there. But in Dimension C group, it's May who's grounded,
so
and Kiana
much like Mimiyori being a second choice, May is also the second choice.
Exactly.
In this dynamic.
May
really
is
makes
like
the story more real.
Mimiyori is the May of our dimension, if you will. if you want to expand this. What?
So there's a Dimension C?
Yeah, there's a Dimension C.
Why?
It's just because that dimension.
Why is there a dimension?
It makes it more
C?
confusing and cool.
Well, also because we need a dimension that has a Laura that's alive. And
Okay, and Dimension C also has 2 holes.
Yeah, exactly. It has 2 holes. I didn't really think too hard about that one. I'm like, they just have 2 holes. Fuck it, who cares? At one, I was like, it should have 3 holes, but I'm like, no, storm drains never go above 1 or 2 holes, so it'd be 2. It'd be, I guess, I don't know. It just never really crossed my mind. Okay, then here's the third image. Okay, so both groups get chased by a Bandage Man, so there is like alternate reality versions of the Bandage Man in the tunnel, and he chases both groups out. During the chaos, like May from Dimension A, it accidentally like escapes with Dimension C group. She doesn't realize that this is like what happened because with the chaos. While Dimension A group, their fate is unknown. We don't know what happened to them.
Okay, so
they switched.
Basically.
Does the whole group switch, or just one person switch?
May tags along to Dimension C's group. And while the fate of Dimensions A group is like, I don't know what happened to them.
See, what I thought was basically this, except I thought that May and Laura were both from Dimension A, and that's why Laura remembered the stuff that May was talking about.
You know what? I was thinking about that like, should Laura still just be the Laura from Dimension B, and she's like just crossed over into another alternate reality? Because she says certain. Yeah.
There's an aspect of this comic that I don't know if you intended, but it's kind of like this high school girl cattiness that is kind of underlying, where friend groups choose someone, like you mentioned, like they were supposed to bully Katie, but that wasn't super like a big part of the story. But it kind of ends up happening to May at the end, where they all kind of turn on her, even though maybe one of them remembered her, but they just decide to go with it because they don't want to go against the group.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
yeah, they're and you're right. Actually, it's probably like why it was probably the best choice to kind of make them all like young girls,
Yeah,
because it does kind of like work like perfectly for that, And I got one more image that probably just kind of just nails everything together. So basically, to the reader, Kiana would have been the extra person, right? But in Dimension C version of the story, she's replaces May, right? May doesn't realize she's within Dimension C, and this is not her friend group, right? And then that's that whole scene where like she gets a call from Katie from the other dimension, and you might be wondering, oh, the Wi-Fi works between dimensions. Yes, it just does. It just does.
Or like cell phone
Twin
towers.
Peaks.
You ever
electricity is the thread that binds us all.
The 5G can cross dimensions.
Did you ever you ever played a Y2K, a postmodern RPG? Because in that one they can talk to alternate dimensions with computers. All right, so that's
well, something I noticed something I noticed you wrote May is the extra soul, and I think at the very end of the comic it would have been better if you had the monster go, May, you are the extra soul, and there was
May.
a title drop. That would have been so fucking sick.
May, you're the extra soul. or Katie says like, May, I think you might be the extra soul.
You know, like high school girls.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. So
Okay.
yeah, basically, and and then May dies. You get eaten or something. Rip.
Well,
May.
I want to know. I mean, I want to know who your guys' favorite girl is, because I asked myself and I asked Matthew, and my favorite was Lana, and Matthew's favorite was Katie.
What?
I'm gonna say it.
What?
May is my favorite girl.
I feel
Your
like
bias?
I feel like May might be the easy answer, just because her suffering is the most visible compared to like.
And she's such a little sweetie pie.
Yeah, exactly. She wasn't doing anything. She wasn't hurting no one. She was just there. She didn't do nothing. She didn't do nothing. She didn't deserve that. Right?
If that's the pedestrian take, then I will be the sole defender.
I think that might be the popular. If I'm willing to
I think
guess,
I would probably say Kiana. Kiana seems chill, but also not a freaking nerd like May. So it's kind of a nice in between.
I did really enjoy like writing all of their personalities, because they are slightly different. Even though the script is not super long, you can't go super in depth.
Yeah.
But I was a little sad I couldn't do more with Kiana, since she shows up when everyone's all like scared as shit. And her main expression is just being scared because she doesn't know what the hell's going on.
Wait
I like
a minute.
Kiana.
What?
Sorry, I meant Kyra. I meant to say Kyra.
Okay.
I feel like I don't even know Kiana. She's
You
an
just got
interloper.
brain fucked.
I did get brain fucked.
You got extra sold. You got extra.
You just got extra sold.
You got extra sold. No, you got extra sold.
Maybe that should be the sticker design. It's like you just got extra sold, and it's like a
World
bumper
star.
sticker.
You just got extra sold.
You just remind me.
Star.
I had an idea for a sticker, but I can't explain it. I need to draw it because I think it might be cool. It's a little intricate.
So, okay, I'm a freaking idiot. So when everyone else doesn't remember, they're right. She wasn't there.
Yeah, she wasn't there.
Yeah, she wasn't.
Right. She wasn't there. Even though she has like all the evidence. And so, they're all thinking, oh, May is some freaky like monster that's disguised as one of our friends.
Yeah.
Right. Well, May's kind of like, oh no, I'm fucking human. I'm here. I'm a person. And they're like,
when May says, I gave the last blunt to Laura, Laura says she remembers that. Is Laura just wrong?
Laura is kind of like, because Laura just smokes a lot of weed all the time, so she herself doesn't like not.
So she's just being like, yeah, I guess that sounds right, even though she doesn't really remember.
Yeah, or like maybe she has maybe May at one point maybe has given me a blood, and I'm probably thinking of that.
I kind of read Laura as like one of the nicer, more forgiving friends too, so maybe she's kind of like, oh, I really don't want to throw May under the bus, so like I kind of that could have happened. I don't know.
I like that. Oof, I a lot of it like I'm really happy you saw all this in like their friend group, because a part of me was kind of like, God, I hope they don't sound like a Hollywood like group
Valley
of female
girl, like,
yeah
hey guys, let's go smoke weed.
Yeah, exactly, because I want it to be like very kind of like, it's just casual, nothing about their conversation. They don't like talk about like anything freaky or anything. You
passed the Bechdel test.
Exactly.
I gotta
boys.
say,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I gotta say, the lesson I learned from this comic is just that the homeless are a problem and something needs to be done about them. Because if that guy weren't there, everything would be fine.
This is
we wouldn't have to worry.
No,
extra soul, cool. More souls for me. I like
look,
it.
It was a different time. It was a different time. This is gonna be
right.
All right. This is different. Cheesy
Are
has
you trying
progressed.
to demonize homeless people, Cheesy?
Well,
or maybe it's a message against men, because the only man in the comic is a scary cannibal. It looks like he's gonna bite her or something.
I used to joke that Extra Souls was very feminist, because it's about a group of girls chilling, hanging out, having fun, till a man shows up, and now they don't trust
Ruins their good
now they
time.
don't trust each other, and it's like boom, men just ruin everything, you know.
Mhm.
Especially homeless, cannibalistic men.
You should make a version of this that specifically doesn't pass the Bechdel test, wherein like not a single thing that they say isn't about. Did you see that guy under the bridge? Like, what a scary guy! I heard there's a guy that lives under here. I hope we don't meet that guy.
The first half would have to be that they're just staring at each other and not talking.
you just empty bubbles.
Yeah, so there's just no. I'll do the fucking anti-feminist version of the story.
Mm-hmm.
The Dimension D.
Oh,
version.
wait.
The sequel to Extra Souls, Empty Bubbles.
So basically, actually, I was thinking for the physical copy, there's gonna be a couple of bonuses. I wanted to like, have a section in the back explaining how the writing process worked and kind of like the history of this story. And I wanted to get Mimiyori talking about her process too in the back. And I was also going to add like a secret link, a YouTube link at the end of the physical copy of the book. And if you like look up the link, it'll go to an unlisted video of a video called Extra Boys, which was kind of like, so when it comes to making short films, and like this is something I learned from like Robert Rodriguez, is that he'll go on set with like a very cheap camera, and he'll just try to recreate the shots with the cheap camera just so he knows how to like do it when he gets the expensive camera, you know. And so that's basically what I did with the Extra Soul short film. Is I went in there and I got my my guy friends to just pretend to be the characters and just say specific lines, and just so I knew what shots to use, right? And when you watch it, you'll notice that like the characters keep changing, because it was only like, okay, which of my guy friends are available now? I just need people. I just need more than two. I just need like 2 or 3 people, and that's it. And then like that just like kind of like you know,
That's cool.
Yeah, and then so you just get a glimpse of what could have been if the actual short film was like finished. I don't think I have any footage of the original. Okay, actually, I think I might have some footage of the original short film, but none of it's edited, and it's just like raw footage. And I'm kind of uninterested in going back and editing it, to be honest. But I am still like mutuals with all the original actresses for Extra Souls, and I was thinking about sending them free copies, each one of them like a free copy of the book, just to be like, "Hi, remember when we tried to do this one time?" Right, and they'll probably dig it, because nothing of the story really changed too much. Some of the dialogue I kind of changed a little, like the story that I think was it Laura tells when they're just casually talking, or no, the one that Katie tells. That story was supposed to be longer, but I just kind of shortened it, because I like they don't have to know all the details of this story. It just
I like how you just hear the ending and you're like, okay, it's a good story.
Exactly. Oh, also, and so for the bandage guy, I had when I wrote the story, I was like, okay, he's just like a monster guy that lives there. And I had no story for him. But recently, while I was driving my car, I was thinking about it. What is his story? And then I did come up with like a lore reason that has nothing. That has like, I'm not gonna probably add it into anywhere in the book, because it's like really you don't have to know where this guy comes from, because it doesn't matter. But basically, my kind of lore reason of why he's there is because at one point there was like a city council member who was looking over like kind of blueprints of like storm drain tunnels in their city, and he noticed something kind of weird. It kind of seemed like the tunnels were like long and complicated for no reason. Like things just kind of like it just seemed very like, why would we design tunnels this way? And like the rest of his council members convinced him that, oh, those were just kind of like printing mistakes on the blueprints, yada yada. So he kind of didn't buy it at first. So he himself went into the tunnels to double check, and because of it, the tunnels like so basically the tunnels just kept kind of like, he kept just ending up in alternate reality versions of the tunnels. So to him, it would have seemed like these tunnels were incredibly long, but really it was just kind of like the tunnel was just repeating itself over and over again. And basically he got stuck down there, and he went fucking crazy, right? Because he was just in endless tunnels, and he was just caught, and he just couldn't get out. And eventually he went so crazy that he eventually encounters an alternate reality version of himself who had the same idea from another dimension, right? And he like physically attacks him and he rips off his face, right? And that kind of happens in other realities too at the same time, and that's kind of like why there's several Bandage Mans in the tunnel. And they basically kind of just roam the tunnel now as like a minotaur, and the tunnels are like a labyrinth, basically.
It's not
Crazy.
just is it not just a long straight tube?
It's kind of like the tunnel just repeat itself. It kind of like God, it's hard. It's hard. It just the tunnel
It's like
just
an RPG Maker game where the map like loops.
yeah,
right?
it loops, but every loop is just an alternate reality of the same tunnel, and it looks the same, but it's just there's like barely any difference. It's just the same tunnel, boom, boom, over and over again. He basically, it's like he just got caught in basically the back rooms or something. yeah,
right.
Basically. So that's what he is, and you don't need that explained because that's like not what the story is.
I mean,
right?
that's kind of cool.
Right.
Like, I feel like it wouldn't hurt to add like a little paragraph at the end of something explaining that for people who care.
Yeah,
It's kind of interesting.
it's kind of like that extra like little bit of like knowledge, like I kept saying Stephen King, like did you know that all the kids in the It story
yeah.
have The Shining, right? Like that's like
Wait, what?
yeah, they have The Shining.
Okay.
So basically,
I haven't read it, so maybe that would mean something if I.
well, basically, in all of Stephen King's books, like exist in the same universe to an extent.
Yeah.
And the thing is that every character that's ever encountered something supernatural has The Shining, because it
Isn't The Shining like a psychic power?
Basically, yeah. But it's
Wouldn't they know if the clown kids had psychic powers?
it's psychic in the you could perceive outer worldly things, right? So that's why the kids could see like Pennywise, and a lot of the adults can't because they kind of grew out of it, or they just never had it to begin with. You know?
Have you read that one Stephen King story about it's like in the future and the family like passes through the teleporter? Do you know what I'm talking about? Longer than you think, Dad.
I think that sounds like a Stephen King story. Yeah.
It's okay. It's like pretty long, but it basically most of the story is just explaining like the history of the development of this like teleportation technology and how it was like tested first on animals and then on prisoners and stuff to like make sure it was safe. And it had like
Is that in the same universe? Because I kind of like what happens in the story The Mist. Like the military had like a teleportation device that opened a portal to another dimension where like it's a reality just with a mist and monsters just live in it.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they have something to do with it. The gist is that you have to be unconscious to go through the teleporter, and if you're not, bad things happen. And it turns out that if you're conscious when you go through the teleporter like disassembles your body, and your consciousness goes to this like suspended state where it experiences like a million eternities. And then before it reassembles you. So if you go through the portal, you experience like time that the human mind can't comprehend, and when it puts you back together, you're like you've completely lost your mind.
That's what I imagine happens when you use one of Elon Musk's brain chip things.
Yeah, exactly. You go through infinite Elon
That's
Musk.
That's what happens every time I sit behind the wheel. Every time I sit behind the wheel of a Tesla, I experience eternity beyond human reckoning and come out insane on the other side. Yeah, but the end of the story is this like dad takes his family through, and his mischievous son is like, hey, I'm gonna hold my breath instead of breathing in the sleeping gas. So they go through, and on the other side the kid comes out and he's like aged and he's got white hair and he starts like screaming and clawing his eyes out and he says, longer than you think, Dad, longer than you think.
Oh wow.
And that's the scary twist.
That's pretty epic.
It's pretty epic.
That is pretty epic.
I forget what it's called. It has a catchy name.
It probably is longer than you think. Because
it's quite
sounds
longer.
like a Stephen King title. And you're like, oh, I wonder what that title means.
No, it's called The Jaunt. It's called The Jaunt.
Oh, wow,
That's what they call the teleporting.
Okay, that also sounds like a Stephen King book. The Jaunt.
The Jaunt.
Yeah.
You ever heard about the Stephen King book where he basically like predicted mass shootings, and he like he actually pulled the book because he was like, I really don't want no kids to be inspired, because literally the story is about a kid who shoots up his school, and this happened like years before that became a popular thing. And
popular
yeah,
became a fad.
it
Yeah,
became a fad among kids today, right?
I can't believe Stephen King invented and popularized mass shootings. Shame on him.
I wanted to ask me, so Mimiyori, how did you feel about this whole experience? You had fun?
Yeah, I had fun. I will say it's definitely given me a different perspective on drawing comics, because I've never done. I mean, Serendipity is small; it's like the webtoon size, so I can't fit that much detail into it. But now I'm like, well, maybe I could do something bigger. I feel I have more confidence to tackle that kind of project. And this did take me way longer than I thought it would take. But I feel like, I mean, I counted the amount of hours on Procreate, and it was like 152 or something, which I don't even know if it's accurate. It might be more.
What does that come out to, like?
It's like,
how many hours per page does that come out to?
Oh, I did the medium. I found out was like 5.5 hours or something per page.
Yeah,
so that's normal.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah, there's some pros out there that could get that time very quicker, but that takes a fucking while. That takes a while. It's
I used to take like, it would depend on the page, but I remember there were some pages that I would do like 10 hours per page, and like that's rough. And
I advertise on my portfolio an average of 4 hours per page, but I actually need to start doing pages so I can find out if that's still true.
and then when you have tens of pages and it's like 5 or 8 or however many hours, the number of hours of the whole project quickly enters like the hundreds of hours, and then it's like, wow, it's a lot.
But it did help with the time having the thumbnail sketches. I did change them.
Oh yeah, you did change a couple, and
stuff.
I mean, I'm happy you did, because I told you explicitly, if you don't like it,
you told me I could kind of go wild with it.
I trust you. Yeah, exactly.
Somebody's like talking loudly down in my kitchen, and I don't like it.
Tell them to shut the fuck up.
Wait, hang on. I'll be right back.
All right. Okay.
And then Ben comes back and then says, "Who are all these people on my computer?" He got extra sold.
I got extra sold.
I remember looking at some of the finished pages and seeing like, yeah, you did just kind of just draw the pose that I made there, because there's some very Cheesymanfredo-esque poses.
Yeah.
In some of them.
There's one page where when they're teasing Lana, she turns around and points. And I'm like, that looks like I became Cheesymanfredo when I drew that, because it looks exactly like your art style. But I think it worked out, because I think it perfectly melds together like both of our styles.
Oh no, definitely
into something unique.
Yeah, I like it's the fourth panel on this page, because you make Laura do this, because I literally just drew that pose.
Yeah.
Because something that I kind of just learn, and this is also like a JoJo's thing, just you can make people just stand weird. It makes things look a little interesting, and
that's true.
Yeah. People are, and they're cartoon characters, they can do that. It's fine. Doesn't
well, basically what I thought when drawing it was like, if it's not broke, I'm not gonna fix it.
Nice.
If I feel like it works, then it works, and most of it was just perfect. I just kind of just drew what you drew, but in my style.
No, I appreciate it. I kind of like that, because sometimes I'm thinking like, am I making the right choices with these? But no, seeing that you stuck with a lot of things I already had on there. I really it makes me really feeds my ego. Like, haha, yeah, I know what I'm doing at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of reminds, like, when I wrote this story during that time, I was kind of more of a machine when it came to like horror stories, and like now I kind of just have trouble coming up with like good horror stories. Although I still have, to be honest, I do like collaborating with more people on like horror stories.
Yeah.
I think the stories I specifically want to draw a little bit more like, yeah, I just want to draw more stuff like villain verse. I like drawing stuff like Mick Pagliacci and all that, and for the horror stories or even other kinds of stories, I'd rather get someone else. I always just like the idea that my library of work doesn't have to be just stuff that I drew. It could be stuff that I wrote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I like the idea of having a big library.
There's something to be said about like, I mean, about division of labor.
Yeah.
You've heard.
I've heard.
Have you heard about this thing called division of labor and the Industrial Revolution? And the big comics makers, they pump out comics all the time, and they do it because they have a writer, a script writer, and then a sketcher, and then a penciler, and then an inker, and then a colorist, and then a letterer.
Yeah.
And when you've got like 5 people doing it, like in a pipeline, you could get like several pages done a day. So I mean, it's good. Actually,
it is good. It is good, actually.
That Tezuka guy, he knew what he was doing.
He was just kind of still just one guy with a couple of assistants, like all the other mangakas.
Yeah,
and a dream.
And a dream.
I think I remember reading at one point that he was doing like 6 comics at once.
He was kind of insane for that. There's a lot of unfinished like Tezuka comics. And he like barely slept. He would like only sleep for like 2 hours a day. And it's like, no,
believe it or not, that's not good.
Yeah. Hot take. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I read a oh god, it was like a biopic. How do you a biopic?
Yeah.
Or like a memoir, basically. And I don't even remember who it was by. It was someone who worked in the manga industry. I think they were a contemporary of Tezuka. But I just remember there's a part wherein he's talking about a couple of like the other famous manga that were working at the time.
You're talking about what was his name? I have his manga right.
This is the one guy who sleeps a lot.
Shigeru Mizuki. Was it the one where he's talking to Tezuka and Shotaro Ishinomori, and Tezuka and Ishinomori are like, yeah, we only get like 10 hours. I mean, we only get like 2 hours and like 15 minutes of sleep.
Yeah,
usually.
and the other guy tells him like, guys, you should sleep. Like when you sleep, it adds the time onto your life. Like if you cannot sleep, but then you'll just die sooner. So it really evens out, and like you should probably sleep.
And
it's fun.
And the last panel is him saying like, yeah, and those guys like kind of died relatively young.
Yes, they did die early, and that guy lived to be whatever. So
that guy,
he was right.
That guy, like, he lived for a way longer than those two guys. Right. Yeah, that's a good comic.
Not to get on the horrors of sleep deprivation, but like I hear it like gives you Alzheimer's if you like don't sleep enough.
Yeah.
It's like contributes to the development of Alzheimer's. So it's really scary. Yeah.
So remember, comic artists, sleeping is important. Do that shit.
You don't tell me that.
Yeah, do that shit.
I sleep like 10 hours a day.
Yeah, I'll
very nice.
I was
power move.
I was sleeping right before this podcast too. I was actually because I took a nap. The last couple of days have been kind of interesting with my car and it being on its last leg, and I might just have to finally get rid of it and get a new car. And
at the time of this recording, there are fires breaking out in Quebec. And it's affecting the air quality where I live. I'm on the other side of that river.
Yeah. There's like smoke all across the East Coast, right?
Yeah.
Ooh,
I got so fucked up that I just slept for 12 hours today.
I haven't personally noticed it, but like I've seen the weather charts. Apparently it's really bad in New York.
And I personally don't care.
Right.
Down there.
No, that sucks. That is scary, some shit.
Yeah, that does suck.
It is it's gonna be, I think here we get wildfire season pretty soon.
Yeah.
Because
it's gonna be a fucked up summer.
That was just to say, sleep for your health.
Exactly.
Pretty bold of a Californian to laugh about such a thing.
True. Which, yeah, Yeah, tell me when you get real big boy wildfire like us
Tell me when you
California.
get a earthquake and a wildfire and drug addict.
The sky turns red.
Well,
yeah.
Call me when Arnold Schwarzenegger is fixing your streets for you. Then we'll talk.
Well, Extra Souls, an alternate version of Extra Souls, where it's the same story, but it's like in the middle of a wildfire. It's the same.
Hey,
shit
we
going.
should go explore that wildfire.
Wait a second.
But I'm hungry. Nah, we should explore the wild. Nah, we should go in the wildfire.
And then one of them stops and then says, "What was that? Was that a ghoul?
Was that? Is that a ghoul or a goblin of sorts?" Man,
They switched between universes. In one universe, the homeless man was secretly a ghoul, and in the other, he was secretly a goblin, and that's the only difference.
May, you're the extra ghoul. May, you're the extra ghoul.
Blah.
They get out of the tunnel, and obviously, like all the girls but May are like goblins. Like, wait, who is it supposed to be here?
Tiara is a raven in Universe A, but no one remarks on it.
Right, exactly. It's just weird. Just weird. Hopefully people read this comic. They're like, "Whoa, Cheesy knows how to write things. That's crazy."
Whoa.
Yeah, that's the outcome I want. What do you got planned after? What's the next for Mimiyori?
I'm gonna keep doing Serendipity.
Yeah.
I know how I want to end it, and I have a couple arcs planned.
Mm-hmm.
I just haven't been doing it because I've been trying to finish this goddamn thing.
Right.
But now it's over. I also have like you were talking about like biopic memoir shit, and I kind of wanted to write my own and draw a comic of it of my experience traveling abroad in Japan.
Nice.
Because I feel like some cool stuff happened and some bad stuff happened there, so I want to talk about that in a memoir. So I'm kind of working on that, but that's gonna be like a long project because I want to do mixed media with that. So I want to do a digital sketch and then draw it on paper and then scan it again and then kind of fix stuff, which I've never really done that before.
It's a process. I think I mentioned this on a couple episodes ago where like there's easier ways to do everything, but like trying to find the easier ways is like itself like difficult in a way, you know?
Yeah.
Finding easier ways to do things is pretty difficult, right? So it's not always like when people say like, "Oh yeah, here's the easier way to do it." There's a little bit of work that you have to do to figure out how the easy way, you know?
I like the look of how a pen looks scanned.
Oh yeah,
you can't really replicate it.
Yeah, there's
I always wanted to learn how to use like the nib pen and the G pen, the dipped, and I got frustrated with it. I never quite figured it out.
There was a minute there where I was trying to do like G pen like training, and I just kind of stopped because like I'm like already good with my micron, so I just stuck with that.
It's prone to accident. Like you can fuck it up. You can fuck your drawing up.
It's what's the phrase? It's a high risk, high reward or something.
Yeah.
Probably if you really know what you're doing, you can minimize your risk of like a big glob of ink coming out of the well.
Right. True.
I'm also already fearful that I'm going to develop carpal tunnel eventually, so I'm scared of using a pen that needs so much precision that I'm like gripping it so hard that my wrist decides like, okay, I'm gonna break now.
You should
and fill you with liquid.
You should invest in kind of like a wrist brace or something, because
I had one, but I lost it because I hated using it so much.
You know what? Me too. Well, there's like I've tried several of them, and the majority of them I hate. But there's like a blue one that's kind of small that I really like. And I can only find it like at 99-cent stores. And I had to,
oh really?
Yeah, because they're kind of like, even though they're not like any name brand shit, they're really good at like helping me out. And I had two of them, but I think I looked around, I think I lost both of them. I kind of just been pausing from comics ever since I finished Paglachi. I just kind of been focusing on like selling that. And it's going.
How's that gone, by the way?
It's going pretty good, actually.
Cool.
I'm down to like probably like 21 physical copies left, and my local like cartoonist collective, we got like 2 more events lined up, and I guarantee I could probably sell all of them by then.
Did you print? How did you have them printed? By the way, did you use like a local print shop or what?
No, there's a company called Resolve Studios, and they're pretty good. But what I'm learning is that the kind of way like the look, it's like risograph printing. I think that's what it's called, and it's a very particular look, and a lot of indie people really like it. But I remember a couple years back, like every indie person was making their comic that way, because that was just kind of the it thing to do, was make it look that way. And I think a lot of companies at the time were like, had
we got to get in on this risograph thing.
Yeah, they had that as availability. But something that I learned is that like now fewer companies are doing it, because I think if I had to guess, they probably lost a shitload of money because it's not cheap to do that. And I think a lot of these indie people don't make that much of a return, with this stuff. So only a handful of them do it. So Resolve Studios is one of them. And because of it, they could like kind of name their price, even though like they told me it's around $7 to just print one of them, but you have to buy it in a bulk of 100, right?
$7.
Yep.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, exactly.
What is risograph printing?
It's it looks. I mean, you've seen the physical copy of Nick Pogacci.
I'm looking at the physical copy. Is it like the stippling effect when it's like shaded and you kind of see like dots? Yeah.
I don't think.
No, I added the dots myself, like you. But
Did you mail me my copy? Did you mail me my copy of?
It should be. It should be the address you gave me at the time that you ordered it. Unless you moved. I know Mimiyori moved, so that's why
Yeah, I got mine. I was lucky because I moved, and then you were like, "Oh, what's your new address?" And then you're like, "I gave it to you, and you sent it the next day or whatever the fuck."
Yeah, it came by pretty quick.
I got it really quick.
Yeah, I was so surprised how quick like the copies arrived.
I'll have to look for it because I don't remember seeing it, but maybe I lost it. Maybe it got misplaced.
I got my copy sent to my P.O. box, and someone at the post office can't read because it says on the front, "Do not bend," and they bent it.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Usually when something doesn't fit in the P.O. box, they just hold it and then give me a ticket for my item, and they were just like, "Nah, it'll fit."
Damn.
I'm currently in the process of flattening it.
Yeah. I mean, I could send you what if I send you a new copy and then they bend that one again?
Yeah, I want to wait until I move because I don't trust the post office to not do it a second time.
Yeah, I got you.
Or I might just print my own non-risograph copy with the PDF copy.
I mean, I could send you the actual like InDesign PDF of it, and then here's the thing, because I could have probably just gone to my usual like printer, but like the fact that they don't have the yellow paper as an option, because you could get like, oh, they'll just print the paper yellow, the paper will just be white, but it'll be printed yellow all over it. They could have done that, but I don't want that. I don't want that look.
That sounds scary.
Yeah, it's gonna look weird. I want the paper to be yellow and the ink to be red. So a lot of these like just companies kind of lost out because like there's not that much money in indie comics, and if every other motherfucker is doing it, what's the kind of point? So yeah, I was gonna do another run of pre-orders, and I was originally gonna get the help of Mega 64 because they offered to promote it, but I think they're currently out of town. Well, I thought they were out of town because I went to a screening of the movie Shin Kamen Rider in my city, and I was literally sitting right in front of them, and I didn't.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, and I didn't point it out because I was like, I don't want to be like a weird. Like,
I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, I don't want to be that guy. Hey Rocco. Hey,
trying to enjoy
Gary.
their movie.
Hey, what's up, guys? Oh, you're fellow Kamen Rider fans too, huh?
Hey, Johnny, remember me? I was on the live stream. I was talking about Mick Pogacci. Remember? Yeah, like I didn't want to be that guy.
Wait, how did you get Mega 64 to promote the Pagliacci?
Well, it was when I first jumped on that other podcast that they had open to like audience voice calls,
Yeah, I listened to that.
Yeah, that one.
Because you mentioned me.
Yeah, I did mention you. Yeah, because one of the guys was like, "Yeah, I'm working on a horror comic," and I'm like, "Oh, well, I'm working on a horror comic too,"
and mine's better.
Exactly. Yeah, don't want to brag. Don't want to. I mean, I don't know. His hasn't come out yet. It might blow me out of the water, or it might not. Who
don't
knows?
worry.
I think Extra Soul sticks with you. It makes you think. It's a thinking man's comic. Because you're thinking like you're thinking like who's the extra girl, and then you're like who's the cutest of the girl. They all kind of look the same, but people usually pick out.
You gotta pick your favorite.
Exactly. Maybe oh shit, genius idea. What
I'm thinking, which girl plays Ultimate Marvel versus Capcom 3?
None of them do. Sorry.
No, not a gamer among them.
Yeah, like. I think it's like, man, I'm so tired. I'm gonna rant a little bit, but I'm so tired of the guy who draws like their big titty like gamer OC. It's like, oh, she rants about Marvel vs. Capcom. It's like you just drew a guy and you just gave her big titties. Yeah, there's so many OCs that are just it's a guy. She likes all the things guys like, but she has big titties and wants to fuck you. What?
It's called defying gender stereotypes.
Oh, sure, yeah. It's
exactly.
What's that type of guy that I see people complain about? That's like they just still like all the things that like most guys like, but they like, oh wait, this is like pseudo progressive though, because most girls who have big titties, they could like Marvel vs. Capcom. Yeah, they could like it, but
why would you like a stupid game for babies?
Exactly, and also
Why would you like video games at all? In fact, all video games are for babies.
This is the 20th time I've seen this.
My big titty waifu likes churning credit cards and thinks that like a low interest mortgage would be really neat. And I
am writing a comic like that inspired directly by you, Ben.
My
really?
Yeah, that's so cool.
She's a big titty girl who has like infinite financial knowledge, and she's using it to game the system.
That's the only thing to do with it.
Give me 1 second.
Very nice.
Shh.
She really likes Slimer from Ghostbusters, and she's making a comic called Slimer and Punishment.
I just like.
I'm also writing a Ben Saint comic. In the back of my mind, I'm chiseling away, but it's not called Ben Saint. I don't want Ben Saint to sue me. It's called.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't actually reference Ben. It's just when Ben was on the churning arc, I thought, this could be a comic book character.
I intend to churn again soon. When the Slime and Punishment Kickstarter is done, my intent is to apply for a new credit card and then use that card to pay all the printing expenses and hopefully get a sweet cashback bonus.
That's the way to do it.
God willing.
My comic is called Ben Slime, and it's about a guy whose podcast that he used to do with his buddies is over, and he's angry.
That's a very compelling. Okay,
he's
go on.
Angry and he's spiteful. Meanwhile, there's like a slime man running around killing people. And maybe there's a connection to Ben Slime. Maybe.
Well, they've never seen the two in the same place at the same time, but Ben has been called upon to solve the mystery.
You're accusing. Well, the thing is, Ben Slime doesn't care. That's just kind of like a plot that's going on at the same time. You're accusing me of being the slimy strangler.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to that. Print that in purple ink on green paper, please.
All right. Ooh, that's a good idea.
Jesus Christ.
Easily done.
Oh fuck. You know what? Let me show you something, because something that the print company sent me that was pretty cool, as the kind of like, oh, if you're thinking about printing with us again, well, here's the options of ink that you could use, and they gave me a little slip where they like print all the different inks on the slip. And they even have different like paper options. Like when I did Mick Pagliacci and like I ordered the test copy, they sent me several different like yellowish papers. Like, oh, which one do you want for this? And I mean, there was one that was like super yellow, but it made it very hard to read. So I was like, okay, I need like something a little not too much like this. But yeah,
it still gets the idea of like yellow paper.
Yeah, so these are the different. My phone quality sucked ass, but this is the slip they gave me.
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, so it's just different, and this looks way brighter in person. So,
Yeah, of course.
yeah, but
So what?
yeah,
Sorry, what were you? What's Who's printing Extra Souls?
I'm probably gonna go with Mixam. Actually, I did order the test copies.
Oh, I know Mixam.
Yeah, Mixam is like everyone just uses Mixam. I'm like,
I use Kablam.
Kablam used to be the Kablam used to be the. Oh, okay, cool. So my friend's dog is whining because we got him in this room, and we like shh, shh, thank you, shh, be quiet, thank you, shh. Okay.
Tell me about Kablam versus Mixam.
Well, Kablam used to be the go-to for everyone back in the day. One time I did try to order a test copy of Villainverse from Kablam, but they never, like, I ordered it and I never got it. And I'm like, that's
seriously?
Yeah, I'm like, that's so cool. I'm so happy I didn't get this and I spent money on it. Haha, awesome.
You got Kablam.
I mean, did you complain and tell them I didn't get the thing? I mean, don't you think they would be like, oh, well, I'll send you it? There must have been a mix-up,
I kind of moved on at that point because a buddy of mine recommended a Mixam, and that's the first time I heard about Mixam was through my buddy.
You should have called Ben Saint. He could have gone like all Karen on them.
Yeah, you call and you say, hey, you fucked my order up. Fix it, and they do.
Okay.
I mean, all I know is Kablam has always delivered satisfactory product to me. That's all I know.
I'm gonna call them and be like, yeah. Back in 2020, I sent you a test copy of Villainverse the
I don't care that it was the pandemic. You fucked it up.
Send me it now.
I mean, paper was expensive.
Excuse me,
back then.
I asked for extra fries and a test copy.
But so I go with Mixam. Everyone uses Mixam now, even like professionals when they do like their indie comics, they're all just using Mixam. I think Mixam is like the top dog.
What's so good about it?
Well, I think one thing I really like about Mixam is that they get back to you very quick. Like if there's something wrong with like the printing or if there's like the type of image size that you use, they'll get back to you like really quick.
Something I know about Mixam that I really appreciate that you can go on their website and you can just set your own fucking parameters and it will just tell you this is how much it'll cost. Other printing things, okay, you can do this with Kablam. Kablam will also let you just like you set your parameters and it'll tell you this is how much it costs. So many printers are like, email us and we'll give you a quote.
Yeah.
And then you'll ask them like, okay, thanks for the quote. What if I printed on different kind of paper? Like, how much would that save me? And they'll be like, send us another email and we'll send you a new quote. We can't reveal our proprietary formula for how we calculate your stupid book.
Oh God.
But send us a full. We'll have to make this like a long drawn out process where every individual change you want to make, you need to like run it by us, and then we'll like send you a calculation. And that sucks. And I feel like every company that does that should be out of business.
That was kind of
so. Hopefully, Mixam will put them out of business.
That was kind of Resolve Studios, but at least like even when I ask for like slightly different things, they get back to me. They don't say like, "Oh, give me a whole new quote." No, they were pretty friendly, and they're all like, "Oh, we like."
But isn't Mixam in the UK though?
They have I think they just got they got another headquarters in America, because I saw that their like headquarters changed. They have an American headquarters now. Because it used to be in the UK, but I mean, maybe it still is in the UK. And they're like
shipping would be wow. Shipping would say it would be cheap.
Yeah, actually, I think it has gotten cheaper to like buy off Mixam. They basically have like they kind of Walmarted all the other like printing companies. Although the thing that like there he goes. The thing that shh. He's a husky and they're loud. They're loud boys. But the thing that like I hope companies like Resolve don't get like fucking bankrupt and shit, because like Mixam does not offer the risograph printing. I mean, they actually once they do, it's gonna be fucking over for all the smaller companies. Like once that becomes available, it's just gonna be over. You know, it's Jover for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going with Mixam. The test copy, from what they told me, is that the test copy should come probably next week after Mimiyori is done posting it all online. But I think that's good because that'll give us time to like spread it around. Do you guys know Trevor Henderson? The artist. He's the creator of Siren Head.
Oh yeah.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, he once had a Twitter space like a couple months ago, and I jumped in and I managed to talk to him, and I'm like, "Hey, what's up, Trevor? I'm working on a horror story. It's about 5 girls, and then 6 girls show up." And he's all like, "Whoa, that sounds really cool. That sounds really cool, Cheesymanfredo. You should send that to me." And I'm like,
okay.
all right, cool. And but here's the thing, like, I don't know if he fucking remembers, and I'm just gonna be a random guy in his DMs being like,
it's worth a shot.
Unless I just add him like, hey Trevor, I told you about this comic like months ago in a Twitter space. Here it is finished. And if he reads it, I mean, here's the thing. I love Trevor Henderson. Don't get me wrong, but he kind of has this thing, and I'm not saying this is a problem. I'm not saying this is a problem at all. If you're this kind of person,
what if he's listening? Be careful with what you say.
I want him on the podcast eventually, but I'll say this: he has this thing that a lot of horror fans have, where like they're super lenient on like horror films. So they'll be like, "Oh yeah, this horror film, oh spine tingling, oh it's such an atmosphere," and then I watch it and I'm like, "Yo, this fucking sucks. This movie sucks."
Maybe they just appreciate horror more than you.
Maybe I'm a loser. Yeah, that kind of.
Maybe you're just a Philistine.
You're jaded.
I am jaded. That's why it's so hard for me to like come up with horror stories nowadays. I have to like rely on the horror stories that I came up with. I blame Trump. I was so good at coming up with horror stories before Trump became president. I was like,
wow.
Yeah, but Trump scared me. It scared me so hard. I'm like, oh, how could I make something scarier than Trump? And
I blame 9/11.
Yeah, exactly. And
I blame coronavirus.
And then Trump inspired Trump, and I was like, he's a villain, and I'm like, oh, I need to do villain verse. That became my next angle, because we entered the villain era. My horror era was over. I entered the villain era. Oh man,
progress.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna get the test copies. In the meantime, I'm gonna see how many big wigs we can rope up. Hopefully,
yeah. Didn't Mega 64 say they were interested in checking it out? Or
I bet they would be down. I remember if you remember on that same podcast, I mentioned like, oh, I sent you guys my other comic, Villainverse, and then Derek is all like, yeah, I don't really care. Tell us more about Mick Pagliacci. he didn't say it like that. He didn't say it. I made him sound meaner.
I vaguely remember that.
I made him sound meaner, but he said like, yeah, I'm more interested in Mick Pagliacci, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles,
Hilarious.
People just...
Well, it is easier. It's easier to get into like something with an ending, like a concise story, than like something like Serendipity or Villainverse where it's ongoing and
and there's kind of more of an angle, it's like like Serendipity is like, oh, what magical girl, but she has depression, and I'm like, literally me, JK, I don't have depression. Anyway, I'm only ableist to people with depression. That's kind of like my MO, really. But it's like these other comics
sounds good to me.
These other comics are kind of hard to get into. I remember the last like event I went to, and I had copies of Mick Pagliacci. I was really like car salesman eating it up on there. Anyone who walked by, I would be like, hey there, friendo. Tell me, what's your opinion on Ronald McDonald? And they're all like, I got no opinion on Ronald. And I'm like,
big fan.
And I'm like, well, if they say big fan, I'm like, oh, well, you're in luck because I got this Ronald McDonald comic. And they're like, oh, you don't know enough about Ronald? Well, that's perfect, because then this comic is going to fill you in.
The lore, the real lore.
Yeah, exactly.
You should tell them that it's like the actual backstory, like that this is like, I don't know. You should try and tell them that this is like canon that like McDonald's has tried to bury over the years. Or something.
I tell them that,
I don't know.
And they're like, "Oh, but Birdie dies in this. How is she still in the commercials?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, clown magic."
Have to, don't tell them that part. Don't tell them that part.
Yeah,
they'll figure it out. They have to read it to find out that you bamboozled
I gotta
them.
make like a comic version of my Ronald theory. I bet people would eat that up.
Oh, the reverse.
Yeah, the reverse aging.
Time.
Yeah. Oh, let me tell you. When I was at,
I think I'm gonna. No, go ahead.
When I was at after that like party I went to, we all went to Denny's like super drunk and high, and on the dinner table, we got on the topic of Ronald McDonald, and I started explaining my Ronald McDonald theory to everyone. And let me just tell you, Common Etiquette was looking at me with his like mouth open, because he looked like I was blowing his mind. Like, what? Like all the details were clicking in place of like, oh my god, that makes too much sense. Like he has like that look on his face. I mean, maybe he probably doesn't remember, but it's it was funny, and
That's so funny that you were just at a party with common etiquette.
It happens.
It's a small world.
It is a small world. Yeah, it's just
in California.
Yeah, my buddy just like friends with people casually like that. I also heard a couple of dirt on like some YouTubers and bigger like Twitter artists, like a couple of fuck shit that they did at the party, and I'm like, oh boy. I'm not gonna say it on this podcast because
I hope they didn't tell you about what I did.
I think you should say it on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm gonna incriminate. Let's just say that there's a lot of former employees of Game Grumps aren't good people either.
I mean, that was kind of obvious.
You think the Game Grumps were the bad guys? They were surrounded. Let's just say it was a real villain verse in there.
I never said that I thought Game Grumps were the good guys. So I don't. So,
a lot of people the Game Grumps are the bad guys, but they're a piece of like all the awful kind of fuck people that are around them.
So there's like a bigger like Rita Repulsa like evil person, and they're just one of the henchmen.
Exactly.
Are you talking about JonTron, or are you talking about somebody else?
I can't say. I'm not.
JonTron's old news.
John is yeah.
No, not John. Yeah, someone else. Someone who like I think a lot of people like. But I can't say.
Okay. I can conjure one or two ideas of who we might be talking about.
I'll say after the podcast.
Well, I found out some pretty crazy drama the other day. Basically,
was it about me?
Will Smith slapped Chris Rock.
Oh no! When did this happen?
Disrespect.
Isn't
the
that
institution.
crazy?
The institution of the Emmys. Was it the Emmys?
It was the Oscars.
I believe so.
The Oscar.
The Emmy Oscars.
Right, Emmys for TV.
If someone,
no, that's the Golden Globes.
If someone called your wife bald, would you be man enough to slap that son of a bitch? Slap him silly.
I mean, if my wife is bald, I would just I would have a big grin on my face, and I would say, I would. That dome is all mine.
I would pat her head and
like,
fucking
was that the joke that he called her bald? Was that what made him slap him?
Whoa, G.I. Jane. Yeah, G.I. Jane.
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, G.I. Jane is like a bald woman in the movie because she's in the military.
Right, because she's shaved head military.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, yeah,
and
okay.
Will Smith was kind of like that kind of old reference.
That
is
fucking
too much.
tears it.
I like how we're having an actual
when I was a
conversation
kid, people would
about
call
this.
me Tuvok from Star Trek.
Tuvok. I remember.
Like, it's a light joke, but it's also really offensive if I don't know.
I had a black friend in high school that people would bully, and they would call him Donatello because he has like a round like turtle face. And now the turtles are like I think they're a lot of like canon human versions of the turtles that they're black. So it makes you think.
Is that
makes you think? Yeah, something to think about.
Something to think about.
I think did you see their human selves in like the old cartoon? Did like the opening song like show them touching the ooze?
They
or
weren't
something?
Humans. They were turtles that became.
That's right.
They're mutant. Yeah, they're mutant turtles.
Splinter was a guy who merged with a rat, but the turtles, they were turtles that got human DNA.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Basically.
Right.
Yep, that's how that works.
Technically, they should all look like the one guy who used to own them, but they have unique traits.
They were owned by
they all look similar enough. Yeah. No, the reason their faces look puffy like that, it's not because that's just what turtle. Like they just had a really puffy face.
Their owner was
make them all look similar.
Was like a little black kid,
a little redhead boy.
It was a little black kid. Actually, I don't know if that's true.
Well, that wouldn't. Would that if they were combined with a black kid's DNA, would that make them black? What do we think?
In Rise of the TMNT, Raphael has like a black voice actor, and he is kind of like explicitly written to be
so
black.
Does Zero in Mega Man X Day of Sigma.
He should be black, is what you're saying. Zero should be
Cleveland
black.
Brown had a white voice actor, so does that make him white?
For a while, his new voice.
I know.
Do you know his new voice actor is like unironically like an ascended fanboy? because he had like a whole video breaking down the Cleveland voice. He was like a black voice actor.
That's cool.
Yeah, he had a whole video breaking down like, oh yeah, Cleveland kind of has this accent from this specific region of America. Like he pinpointed it, and he was doing it, and then that guy got hired to be Cleveland.
But you know, like Seth MacFarlane probably didn't even think about it at all. Like he didn't have any kind of like concept of what Cleveland should sound like.
It was a different time.
Did Seth voice Cleveland?
No, it was another
originally?
white guy.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I think that guy put a lot more thought into it than they originally did.
Hello, Cleveland. Hello, Peter. Yeah.
That's usually how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. At that party, they also had Family Guy stickers. There was like a table with Family Guy stickers.
Oh hell yeah!
They were just
yes.
Yeah, that's how you entertain.
Exactly. I also try to pull my classic. So I don't know if I've said this before, but I really hate Zodiac motherfuckers. Yeah.
You mean astrologists?
I know that
Mimiyori.
you're. You offended me because I know that your tagline for the show is "We love woman," but I think you just said you hate them. So
Okay,
wait, is that the tagline of this show?
It's a catchphrase of the show. It's like "We love women."
Okay,
Mimiyori remembers. Holy shit, that's crazy. That's beautiful. I'm happy. You know what? I take it back. Zodiacs, they're okay. No, but basically every time people start talking about zodiacs around me and they ask me like what my zodiac is, I always say the wrong one, just to see them say like, "Oh, that makes so much sense because you're yada yada." Like, it always fits me perfectly.
You really own the libs.
I did own the libs, but here's where I fucked up. I had my buddy with me who's a hardcore zodiac believer, and once he heard me lie, he looked at me and said like, "No, you're not. You're a Capricorn. You're the biggest fucking Capricorn I know, motherfucker." And then they all look at me like, "Yeah, you are like a big Capricorn." And like, I'm like, "Yeah, I love hearing that. I love hearing how like I'm the perfect Capricorn. I'm the Capricorn."
Capricorns love money, so
Cheesy's like, I'm Capricorn maxing right now.
Capricorn maxing. Oh, I'm Capricorn maxing. Yeah, all the other zodiacs
I'm with you, Cheesy. I'm with you, Cheesy. Astrologists should be undermined at every possible opportunity.
Astrologists
keep fighting the good fight.
I don't know if you've seen those young Sheldon clips on TikTok, but there's fucking clips of young Sheldon like destroying his youth pastor. That's you with the fucking astrologist.
Ironically, that was me in youth group because I was asking that was me during my atheist phase, which I never left. I got recently back into my atheist phase. But yeah, that was me during youth group. I was asking like the big questions, and they all didn't like me. All the people who ran youth group didn't like me. Eventually, I outgrew youth group, and I heard that all the youth group like organizers realized that they hated each other after they didn't have a villain. They didn't have me no more to focus their hate on. So they all just started like shitting on each other, and then their numbers dwindled. Or they just outgrew it. I don't know. Who knows? I like to think that it's all about me, though. Yeah. I'm just kind of like that, Damn, what was I gonna? we're talking about Mix-Am. So, big news for My Alien Girlfriend fans. You're gonna be eating next month. You're gonna be eating. Your page.
I can't wait.
Yeah. So basically, what's happening was that my cartoonist collective, we got a booth at our Pride Festival, and then they're all like, the people in the collective are like, "All right, guys, if you got any gay comics, you better finish them shits now, so we could sell them at the Pride Festival."
Oh.
And I was like, "Oh, well, I technically have my one gay comic. I technically can make physical copies."
Your token.
Yeah, my token, my token gay comics. I won't make. If you want Bongo Luna to become gay, give me $1 million and I'll do it. I'll make it canon. But no, basically,
Luna's
she's
gay.
pansexual.
That's something.
Sure. But
that's on the flag
earlier
somewhere.
when I was saying like I hate it when people come up with like big titty characters that like everything guys like. That's like
right.
Luna.
That's Luna. Right.
So anyway, so
who none of us is innocent.
True. But no one is free of sin.
No girl would love Among Us that much.
True.
It's a pipe dream.
Well,
it breaks my suspension of disbelief.
it's fine because Among Us girl doesn't have like big titties or a big ass, so it makes.
I guess.
As we all know, a girl with big titties can't be into video games. Come on now.
It's not.
Come on.
As we all know, if they don't have that, then they're not a real character.
In my fan Among Us girl comic, she gets big titties and she's like, "I don't like Among Us no more."
I've seen the there's like 4 Rule 34
Uh-oh.
images, and yeah, I mean,
can't wait for the rule.
no hate.
Can't wait for the Rule
encourage.
34 for extra souls. Let's go. No,
it writes itself,
basically.
really.
But
yeah, basically.
So I would have done physical copies of My Link Girlfriend like maybe like last year or so. But here's the thing: my computer crashed like last year, and I lost a lot of those early My Link Girlfriend comics, and like they still exist in a form, but the quality is so low. I'm just not interested in like putting those in a physical comic.
That
Bummer.
sucks.
But that made me think like maybe it's the time. Maybe I should just remake those old comics, and maybe I should just like whatever stories or jokes I want to improve on, just change it. So I'm currently like rough drafting like it won't be that long. I'm just gonna like retell a couple of those early ones up to a point, just so it can feel kind of like complete-ish enough for people. And I think I'm gonna sell that at the Pride Festival, but I am gonna give people the option to order them online because I know people would want. I know My Link Girlfriend fans have been starving. It seems like I have abandoned you.
They need to be serviced.
Yeah, exactly. But McPaglachi needed priority. Also, all my little like fart comics that I made, those needed priority too. But
fart comics.
all the like random joke comics I make.
Oh, yeah.
I call those fart comics.
How to kiss Latina girls.
Yeah, exactly. That was a banger.
That was a banger.
I'm a bigger
the Takis.
I'm a bigger fan of the help. I'm being milked by the cuck man.
Oh yeah,
that was great.
Yeah.
All those come from just stupid conversations I have with my friends, and I noticed the more popular ones are just if the conversation becomes extra stupid. It's a
yeah, you have to turn your brain off and then you make the best shit.
Yeah, true, exactly. That's gonna be the next shit that I do. So there's gonna be physical copies of My Link Girlfriend later next month, and we'll see how that goes. But basically, I'm just gonna retell I'm just gonna redraw the original, and I think I might just say fuck it, and instead of like making it those panels that I had for webtoons, I think I'm just gonna make them into an actual comic page, and they're gonna be different enough that I think it is gonna be worthwhile for people to like want to buy them. Especially, I mean, it's just the same story, but it's different enough that I think it's worth it to get.
And they're gonna be printed in like full color.
Yeah,
right?
they're gonna be full color. I'm going.
Okay, sick. Yeah, I'll definitely buy one. That sounds cool.
Hell yeah, exactly. So that's coming along. This whole time, I'm gonna try to like see if we could get like some sort of publisher for Extra Souls, but that shit is so it's a whole ass process.
Isn't it a thing where like publishers hate black and white comics, or is that a lie I've been fed?
Well, most indie places will be down for it.
Okay.
I mean, if the comic is good enough, there doesn't need to be like there doesn't need to be much of.
I think I don't think Extra Souls could have been made in color. It wouldn't work.
If it was to be made in color,
girls.
Oh, they'd look too
they'd look too different.
Well,
I think they'd have like.
Well, I know that in our short film, some of the girls were like explicitly like white girls, and like 2 of them were like Filipino. But I think it kind of worked. Because at least they were all like lighter skinned.
With I think it would be. I think with real people it's harder. I think with real people it's like you can't find people that are like similar enough looking. You'd have to pick. They'd all. You would have to like pick like a style. Like you have to pick colors just for like stylization. I feel if you were to do like a color version of Extra Souls, right? So nothing that you can't just one for one just pick the colors from the actual Storm Drain. You're gonna have to be creative with your color choices. But I think the black and white is fine. What I'm kind of just betting on is that the comic becomes like, hopefully, what I'm hoping is that once like Mimiyori like posts the whole thing, we'll get a bunch of people saying like, "Yo, read this whole thing, the ending's so crazy." Like, that's what I really want to happen, because if enough people like do that, it could make the rounds, and hopefully someone big or important sees it. If not, we'll figure out something.
I'll figure out something.
I was wondering if I should make like a YouTube video, like a couple minutes about it or something, promoting it, because I have
If you want,
some
yeah,
YouTube following
I'll
that might be interested in it. I don't
I'll
know.
tell you this. I mean, you could just make one of your regular anime videos and promote it at the beginning or something.
That's true. That's true.
'Cause I think
When are you going to be posting the whole thing?
I think by Tuesday or Monday the whole thing will be out, or Sunday.
I have no idea. I'm bad at math.
There's not too many, like, we're like basically halfway through the story of what you posted so far. Yeah, so the rest of it should be out like towards the end of this weekend. But basically, yeah. It's funny. I'm gonna redon the mask. I'm gonna redon the clown makeup. I have an idea for a very funny, like, Pasta the Clown bit to promote it. and since like the storm drain tunnels are based on real tunnels that exist here in my city, I'm gonna go back there and record it there.
Cool.
Yeah.
That sounds
Yeah,
cool.
I have a really good idea that I think people are gonna laugh. And which is funny because I didn't really have any idea for a pasta one for McPaglaci. Hard to believe, but yeah, I think yeah. So I'll do one for that, and I'll make the rounds. If you post it on TikTok, it should be good too, because people like read whole ass chapters of like Chainsaw Man on TikTok.
Yeah, when I finish posting all of it on Twitter, I'm gonna post it to TikTok.
Post it to TikTok,
and then also
and you pinned it.
Tumblr as well.
Yeah, and I'll repost it. I'll go to yours and I'll repost it on my TikTok, so people can see it. And fuck, I'll even make maybe I'll even make a post about it on TikTok. I'm slowly becoming TikTok popular. Those fart comics do pretty big numbers on TikTok for me. So yeah.
Cool.
Do people read comics on TikTok?
Oh, there's a photo
Yes.
gallery feature on TikTok, and people just post like, they mostly just post like Twitter memes or like screenshots of like Twitter posts on TikTok, right? So
people will post like whole ass manga chapters, and I sat down and read one the other day while I was on TikTok. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm one of those now. I don't just go on the manga website. I just sit and stare at TikTok like a loser, but whatever.
I mean, whatever gets you that sweet content.
I read one that I thought this is atrocious. This is a terrible manga, but it was one where like a guy like basically like adopts this random girl he finds on the street, and then he finds her real mother, and she's a piece of shit. She's like abusive. So this guy fucking murders her, rips her limb from limb, right? And then the ending was kind of like, the ending was like he goes to jail and everything, and then it's
like a fucked up spy film.
Yeah, and then the chick, the little girl he adopted, is like a full grown woman now, and she's like, "Oh, thank you for being there." And it's like, yeah, that was so based of you to murder my mom. This is like, oh god, that was atrocious.
To their credit, that was not where I was expecting that to go, because there are a bazillion of those mangas where it's like, oh, shitty parent, but I'll take care of the kid.
This is like, that's a big thing now. It's like everyone has to have their like daughter figure now. Oh, I'm a father guy and I have a daughter.
Yeah.
Now, oh, women are people now that I have a daughter. Actually, no, that comic it like validates the whole women aren't people, because you could easily fucking murder them if you don't like them.
You could easily rip off from limb.
Exactly.
They're like paper.
Exactly. It's like there's a certain type of hentai doujin I don't like. Well, if it's drawn good, I like it, but there's one where it's like a woman does one awful thing, and then the guy does a laundry list of terrible things just as retaliation. And it's like, it's fine because you did this one awful thing at the start, and it's like, no, it's not. It's not fine. I don't think just because she bullied you, she deserves to become like for people to run a meat toilet. I don't think that's fair.
That's like the plot of Drag Me to Hell.
Basically.
Because
you're mean to one Romanian woman, and suddenly you deserve to go to hell.
She had to deny that claim. It's against company policy.
Maybe if she was black, I would guess. Okay, maybe then you probably deserve to get dragged to hell. But Romanian in America, come on now. Americans think Romanians are Italian because Rome, yeah.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Oh man, and then after I got a couple of other NSFW comics I gotta be working on. Oh, awesome. Another thing I want Extra Souls to like. I'm hoping that with Extra Souls out, it'll kind of validate enough people to be like, "Yo, Cheesy is like a good writer. He could write good comics. He doesn't just draw good comics. He could write them too." And I'm hoping I do want to collab with more people on comics. I got like other like fucked up horror story ideas that are short films that I repurposed in the back of my mind. I got one that I know Mimiyori can't draw because I need someone who's really good at drawing gore.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be. Yeah, this is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping it just opens doors for me, really. Yeah, and I'm hoping Mimiyori opens doors for her too. Of course, obviously,
and for me too, because I got that executive producer
like,
credit.
Ben Saint produces comics.
That guy's got great taste. That guy's
you're gonna be like Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird when they're the creators of TMNT.
Sure,
there was a moment where I think I'm gonna mention the story before where they really gave back a lot to like the indie comic community. Okay, wait, give me 1 second. Shh.
That dog sounds distressed.
He just wants attention. I promise you, he is in a really okay spot right now. He just wants attention.
Yeah, are you sure? I'm calling animal services under the desk.
Guys, I promise
now.
this dog is not.
This dog is calling for help.
This dog is not strapped.
Bark once if you're safe.
This dog is not strapped to a surgeon table right now. I promise you. If you were looking at my room right now, he would not be in a surgeon's table right now, strapped.
Well, that's a relief.
You know what? Forget whatever fucking story I was saying.
The Peter Laird TMT.
Yeah, there was a point where like they were giving a lot back to the indie comic community, and there was this one moment where like at a Comic-Con they were just giving money to any random comic pitches that people gave them, and I don't think anything came out of that. I think people just ran away with the money. Yeah. So anyway, I want you to become that, Ben. You need to become that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, you get your laundry list of fans to be like, could you help us produce this, Ben? Ben, could you give us $800 for this, please, Ben?
Right away. Yeah. Right. Nothing would please me more.
All right. Does anyone else want to say before we go to the ending segment of the podcast?
No, I don't think so.
Is this when I guess it's like plugs? Can I plug? Is this the time to plug the Slime and Punishment Kickstarter?
Oh, okay. You can plug that. You can plug that now and then re-plug it after the end of this segment. Yeah.
I think I already mentioned.
Yeah. Ben has a Kickstarter. We don't need to talk about it. I already met its goal.
It's it did already. Yeah, but it could do better. It could do even better though.
Have you guys seen those stretch goals? Crazy.
I haven't added a stretch goal yet, but I'm going to. I need to take a cool picture to go along with the stretch goal.
So
anyway, Slime and Punishment on Kickstarter. It's running right now. It's running until the 2nd of July. July 2nd.
Do you like super specific, hyper niche comics, like super niche?
Imagine this: a magic pony banished to an urban hellscape of radioactive slime and hypercapitalism. What will he do? Will he die like a dog, or will he rise to the occasion?
You also have to know a lot of lore about Ben's side project, plus Christian lore. You got to know all this before going into the book.
Yes, but it's all explained in the end.
Okay,
notes.
Don't worry.
See, the end notes are there, so the casual reader has a handy guide.
Yeah.
That they.
I was wondering why Thanos was there until I read the end notes and like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Now I know why Thanos was there.
It will all make sense in the end notes.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Extra Soul will have end notes where I'll explain the Bandage Man's lore. Yeah. And all that.
Exactly how many parallel universes are there?
A lot.
Just how many?
A lot.
Just how many tunnels?
Near infinite. Look, it'll all be explained in my other parallel dimension alternate reality comic, Alex Yikes, about a white guy who's an awful person, and then he finds out about alternate realities, and he becomes 10 times worse because of it. And that's coming out eventually.
Cool.
I want to make a crazy white boy
Cool.
trilogy. It's gonna be Alex Yikes, then Ben Slime is gonna be the second book. No connection. It's a spiritual sequel. There's no lore connection. And the third one, I don't know.
Cool.
Maybe I'll make it a white trans man. Do something a little different. We'll see.
Who do I know any white people?
Herm. Do I know any?
I can't.
Name 10 white people.
Ah, shit. Wait, don't do this to me. Fuck. Shit. No, Danny McBride. Okay, he's white. Fuck. John Goodman. Okay, 2. Fuck.
Jerry Seinfeld.
No, he's Jewish. Doesn't count. Doesn't count. I'm a Nazi. Doesn't count.
I fell into the trap.
You fell into typical liberal. Fell into the Jewish trap.
The Jewish trap. That's exactly right.
I think is George Costanza Jewish? I wouldn't be surprised if
no,
Nikado Avocado.
Jason Alexander. Nikocado Avocado is white. He doesn't know Spanish, so that makes sense. Peter Parker from Spider-Man, he's white. Oh wait, no, he's Jewish too. Never mind. Fuck. Iron Man is white.
Is he?
He's implied to be Jewish.
Is Andrew Garfield white? Or is he Jewish?
He's Garfield. Maybe he's Jewish.
Okay.
If someone told me he was Jewish, Tobey Maguire doesn't look Jewish. He looks white. Who's the most non-Jew of the Spider-Man? Spider-Mensch. That's the Jewish.
I haven't.
Paul Giamatti.
I haven't seen the new Spider-Man.
Donald Trump's white. I know he's orange. He's orange. He's white.
We can agree on that. He's white.
I think that's 10. I think that's. I didn't count, but I think that's
got to be 10.
That's got to be 10.
That's
easily.
so many. We named so many.
I can't believe you. I can't believe you did it.
Mimiyori is white. Sadly.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Called out.
No, I'm blue.
True, she is blue. Actually, you know what? Since I like Mimiyori, I'm gonna promote her to light skin. She's not white. She's light skin. There you go.
Congratulations. You made it.
Ben hasn't earned that title yet. He said some atrocious things.
Soon. I'm Slavic.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, boom. There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I'm glad we sorted all that out.
Yeah, I'm happy. All right.
I was worrying about that all episode.
And you were itching in the back of your mind. You're like, okay, which Extra Souls girl is white? Oh, jeez. Lana and Laura are white. I imagine.
Is Kyra black?
Kyra is in my head. She's like light skinned Mexican. Yeah, okay. And Katie is Filipino, maybe. In my head.
Okay.
That's the short hair one, right?
May is white or I imagine
May's a ginger.
Wait a second. I have to pull up the drawing to remember which one is
May
which.
May has like a Spanish last name, but she doesn't know any Spanish, and both of her parents are very white. That's how I imagine. None of this is canon. You guys can choose the canon. I don't care. It's whatever. Draw them in all different ethnicities, and I'll make the story less confusing.
That would be cool, actually. Everyone drew what they think their colors are.
Yeah, I don't care. There's no canon. I know that in my head, I imagine their hoodies they're wearing are like maroon. That's just kind of it. That's like the only. Yeah, their hoodies would be maroon. That's what I imagine their hoodies would be. Yeah. That's
a typical school pride color.
Yeah, it is.
I was gonna say, yeah. Is it their school
it was my
colors?
high school color. It was but I imagine they're like older than they're a little bit they're almost fresh out. They're like in that between zone, if you will, just like they're in between realities, if you will.
Wow.
Exactly. I did think.
Wow,
I did think about this. You might say I'm smart, maybe.
They're not quite girls, but they're not quite.
They're not
women.
quite.
They're in between.
They're not quite extra,
realities.
but they're not quite souls, if you will. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay,
sure.
and ending segment. Who deserves to get canceled this week, guys? Who?
Oh.
All right,
I
Julian,
do
you
have
can
one.
start. What do you guys think of someone to cancel? Julian, you go ahead.
This is probably going to shock no one, but I hate AI image generator people.
Yeah.
Usually,
we got Ben Saint and Julian right here
they're
about to have a
ignorable.
battle.
No,
But there are these people
no.
who go on Twitter, they generate an AI image, it gets like hundreds of thousands of like likes and retweets, and then they get all incredulous, like, why are these artists being mean to me? Why are they gatekeeping art? And it's like, you didn't make anything, you stupid fuck.
No.
That's the gatekeep.
No,
fuck you.
I think, I don't think if they're like defensive of it and they're like say that they made it with their stupid little tool or whatever. Yeah, I think that's over the line. That's dumb.
I agree. Yeah, dude, fuck those people.
Recently, I've seen people like trying to use different tactics as defensive measures. Like, oh, well, what about generative audio? And it's like, no one actually likes generative audio. It's just noise.
Pretending you drew something versus making the three presidents play Minecraft video is very different.
You get more value out of it. Yeah, I'm fine with the AI generated MF Doom is just singing memes stuff. That's fine. Because I mentioned this before. I really missed that era of like that kind of in between zone where like AI was like was becoming more convincing, but the only things it could have originally come up with were like things that looked too shit posty. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I think that was a sweet spot. It should have just stayed there. Really, I really don't need it to look like.
I haven't really seen it.
My art
I mean,
look
occasionally
like anime girl.
It spits out something.
Yeah.
Occasionally AI spits out something that looks like a human could have made it, but like I don't think it's past the point. Like whenever it does that, you know that they had to do it like 100 times over until they finally got something. Like sometimes it does it like by accident.
You know what? Tag along to Julian. This is who I'm canceling. Speaking of AI art, I'm canceling this motherfucker right here. Elon Musk kid. Your days are numbered, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'm canceling his little fucking.
Oh, he looks so punchable.
Yeah, he does. And first of all, his hair didn't even fucking look like that. You ever seen like his hair before? Like Elon Musk became like super popular. He had like he was going bald.
Are you suggesting that the baby Elon Musk would have been bald?
Baby Elon Musk has to be bald. It doesn't make any sense. Or like not like exactly
that's
his
great.
hair. Like I know you just went into the prompt and typed in Elon Musk baby. I know that's what you typed in.
Look at his little pursed lips.
I hate him. I don't like this kid. He read the entire encyclopedia at the age of 9. Holy shit. What the fuck?
What a fucking loser.
Yeah, what a fucking loser.
Go play outside. Toss
That's
the
not
pigskin
impressive.
around.
I read the whole Bible at 9.
It's not like I've seen 9-year-olds do crazier shit. Like I bet 9-year-olds today have read all of the My Little Fallout.
I mean, I did a backflip on the trampoline when I was 9,
exactly.
so that's way cooler.
You do that, you little fucking nerd. You little fucking turd.
But has he read all of the Bionicle novels?
Oh, here we go.
I don't think so.
Ben Sane has he's now a Bionicle guy. That's his gimmick now.
He's in his Bionicle era.
Sure.
Yo, Chiraka.
Bionicle, you-onicle, we all-onicle, Bionicle, homo-onicle, pan-onicle, trans-onicle.
Trans-onicle. That's what I'm transitioning to.
I'm gonna cancel people who like Toho.
Yeah, fuck them.
Because they gotta be making up some of those girls. There's too many.
Yeah.
I know
Oh,
that
no,
they're
all
not
real.
all real. They gotta be fucking with us. And why are they all wearing those silly little hats? I know they're just making it up. It's all a ruse. They're hiding. it's like Toho Gate. They're hiding something.
They're hiding something.
beneath
There's something evil.
Something beneath the surface.
Is the guy who made Toho not real? They just generated him with AI.
Yeah.
Toby Fox claimed that he interviewed him, but can we trust Toby?
No. He also claimed he
literally
interviewed the Yume Nikki person, and no one hears from them. So I don't believe it.
Wait, Toby Fox said that he interviewed them?
Yeah, he interviewed Yume Nikki, man.
And like, there's just no evidence that it's
No, we're
true?
making that up.
The interview
No,
is
I'm
like
just
not even
fucking around.
about
Okay,
things
all
related
right.
to Yume Nikki. They're like dumb questions like, "What did you eat for breakfast today?"
Yeah, what the fuck? That can't be real. That's a fake
Toby-
interview. Toby Fox.
Toby,
is
ask him
duping
what
us.
fucking movies he watches. Ask him if he likes David Lynch or some shit. I don't know, dude. Ask him. Toby, please don't. Please stop being quirky for 1 second. Please just stop being quirky for 1 minute, please. I know that. I know that's every character in your game. I know they're all quirky and we all love it. We all eat it up. But please, you don't got to do that. That's fine. You don't got to do that. Canceling Toby. I changed my mind. I don't want to cancel Elon Musk, baby, no more. He could live for another day, for another episode. Maybe I'll bring him back next episode. AI prompted me beating the shit out of Elon Musk, baby. Yeah, I want to see that. Ben, who do you want to cancel?
Yeah, I've been furiously scrolling Twitter for a few minutes here, trying to find like who can I cancel. I'm sure someone deserves to be canceled.
That should be
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah,
It should be.
I feel like you'd have someone in
Yeah,
mind.
the
You would think so, but I've been not looking at Twitter much lately. I mean, it's all the same suspects week after week. I don't want to look at it anymore.
I guess we could cancel homophobes because it's Pride. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, that's a little. Don't you think that's a little easy
hard.
though?
They
Don't
kind of
you
have a
think-
point, you know.
Don't you think we should hear them out? Don't you think they deserve a seat at the table like everyone
True.
else?
You know what? I take it back. Never
They
mind.
deserve a platform.
Yeah, definitely. They
What are
definitely
you?
deserve a platform.
What are you, a Nazi? You gonna burn their books now? You gonna silence
so
their
much for
free
the
speech?
tolerant left.
Damn,
That's
you know
right.
What? You changed my
Um,
mind. I take it back. Well, actually,
Yeah,
we
and on that note, we should cancel LGBTQ plus people because they are ruining it for
mean
the
sometimes.
good ones. They're mean sometimes, and they're mean when transphobes are mean at them, and that's just as
Look,
bad, actually.
Exactly.
look,
So
if you're mean, I just don't like you no more.
I'm a centrist.
If you're just mean once, you're evil to me. You're pure evil. And I'll let
I
you
agree.
know. Just want to let you know.
So be
Right,
evil.
exactly.
So just be
Okay,
evil.
so I think
Let's cancel Ron DeSantis because I keep seeing pictures of him making funny faces with his mouth open.
Trump, please
And
just,
I don't want to see that
please
anymore.
just murder Ron now. Please just do it, Trump. We know you're gonna eat him. Just do
Ronnie.
it. Just eviscerate the man.
Ronnie
Right,
boy.
like,
Let's
These
go.
like Florida governors are weak-willed compared to the pure chat energy of Trump. Right. Just please take him out already, dude. Just come on. I loved it when he called him Meatball Ron. That should have just been his nickname.
Trump has good nicknames.
It does.
Okay?
Ron DeSanctimonious.
Trump is great at nicknames.
One thing, he's great at nicknames. Even though Trump took away my ability to come up with good horror stories, I think it's a fair trade for the funny nicknames.
Hey, have you guys played you guys played Lisa? Lisa the
that's
Painful?
coming back.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I really want to. I heard they're adding a baby mode, and that's what I really want
Yeah.
because I need
A
a baby
baby
mode.
mode?
I need
A
they're
mode for
like
babies.
yeah, a mode for babies like me who can't play video games, and I need like assistance at every.
yeah.
I'm those people
Look,
who
not-
who like game reviewers are like. People hate game reviewers because like I didn't finish the game because it was too
You're a
hard.
gaming
That's me. It's too
journalist?
hard.
What?
Clenching my fist. Look, not no hate or anything, but I don't understand. JRPGs are the easiest fucking games.
Well, Lisa,
they're turn-based.
Lisa is like broken
But
on
Lisa's
purpose.
hard.
Lisa's like broken on purpose, though. It's like it's it
Okay,
being,
alright,
it being
fine.
hard
You know
is
what?
part
Fine.
of the.
It's fine.
No, I
It's
mean,
fine.
I get why. Like, I don't recommend Lisa to everybody,
Okay,
even though the story.
I
I
didn't
want
find
to
it that
experience the story, but I don't like playing that many video games. And
there's
I'm
a
shit at
hard
them,
mode.
so.
There's a hard mode in Lisa, and I found that still not that hard.
Man.
But it's okay. It's
Well,
okay. You know
you're a
what? I
real
want you. I
gamer.
want you to experience it as well.
I
So
want
if a
that
baby
fucking
mode,
baby mode.
what would a baby? What would they even add to a baby mode? Just like make the stats really high?
Maybe,
I don't know. That's their problem. I'm the
Hmm.
consumer.
I wouldn't be surprised if they just make. They're probably like there's like little things they could do, like when you camp, you no longer get the random poison effect, or
Yeah, that was pretty rough.
the economy
That was
will
pretty
be
rough.
buffed up because the economy is like shit in Lisa on purpose because it's post-apocalyptic.
I mean, I
right?
think I think the game's perfect, but
also
you know,
the game is very like anti-grind. Like it's hard to grind in that game. But I mean, it's not grinding is not really the point of the game.
That's like, yeah, that's. I think it's well designed for that. I just wanted to mention it, yeah, because I saw that freaking Dingaling is posting again. He posted screenshots. He's freaking back, and I can't believe it.
Matthew, my boyfriend's favorite game ever, well, like his third favorite game, he would say, is Lisa.
Good.
That's a pretty good pick for top game.
True.
He was so excited about it. He was talking about it like all day to me. He bought the vinyls and all the shit. So
that's cool though.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I don't have it.
I should draw some new Lisa fan art. The last one I drew, I was like years ago. I need to update it.
Same. Yeah. I drew some Lisa like once.
I tried to play the first Lisa, the one which
Oh, I mean that one's not even like. I mean, it's not hard because there's no like gameplay. You just walk around.
There's like
stuff.
one part that's like super annoying to get past, and that's kind of where I stopped. Where like, this is too annoying. I'm just gonna.
Is it like a stealth thing where you have to sneak by?
You have to dodge a couple things, and it always just resets. And I just kept losing, and I'm like, I'm just Google gameplay, let's play.
Yeah, I mean, Lisa the First is fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I also like how it's still it's still canon to the rest of the games, even though it was made years ago.
Yeah,
that's a very neat thing.
I thought Toby. No, his name's not Toby. His name is Yeah, Austin. I thought Austin was working on. I thought he was making something called like Ninja Attack.
Whatever
like
happened to that?
Ninja Fist.
Maybe
it's canceled.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, maybe he changed his mind or something. So I had kind of stopped keeping track of him because it seemed like he was making a whole new thing, and I was like, well, I guess I'll hear about that when it's happening.
It'll probably be out. It'll probably be good. I'll hear about it when it gets out. Yeah.
Well, he probably stopped working on that to do, Is it like a Lisa remaster, or is he making another sequel?
Yeah, it is just a remaster.
I mean, I guess that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine.
You know what? That's actually lame. That's actually lame.
I like his
dumb.
He's lazy. He's lazy.
I'm sorry. It's not that it's lazy. I'm sorry. Okay. I don't know if it's a hot take. It's not that it's lazy. It's that it's wasted effort because the game is literally already perfect. It's already a masterpiece. Why would you remake it?
I think it's just quality of life improvements, because I heard that there's some things. I haven't played it, but what I'm telling you is what I've heard from my boyfriend.
Okay.
There's shit in it that is like it kind of runs slower or like isn't as smooth as it could be. I think
the new release is going to be on Switch too. It's going to be on modern consoles. So
if it's quality of life improvements, then I guess. I mean, if it's just quality of life improvements, that's not a remaster. That's just I don't even know what that is.
They upgraded the graphics as well because it has to be displayed on all those different non-PC
they're
resolutions.
Adding like a border to the Switch and stuff, and I don't know.
I see. Well, okay.
It's going to be a whole new experience. Unless you've already played it, then it's just slightly different.
Well, that's fine. I guess I wished it was a new game.
One of my favorite things about the whole Lisa thing is that Dingaling has confirmed that all the fan games are canon to Lisa, because and just kind of an interesting thing about the fan games is that we don't really follow any character from the original game, because just the world of Lisa is just so expansive that you could come up with like 50 different guys with their own little quirks and gimmicks.
I started playing a fan game once and then I didn't finish it, but it seemed really good.
There's one with like really good graphics. I was even tempted to do like a Lisa fan comic of like my own little quirky character in that world. Because there's a couple of canceled one. I know someone was saying like there was one that I saw they made music for, but they never finished making the game, where it was like, I guess spoilers for Lisa. There's like a quick mention of there's an area in the Lisa's world where there is women, and there's gonna be a fan game where it's actually more like a prison where they're having women hostage, and it was gonna be about that. I didn't see that, never came to fruition, but they did make a bunch of music for that game that you could like listen to.
I learned from the new image that he posted that apparently the town, which is spelled Olathe, I always thought it was pronounced Olath, but apparently it's Olathe, which is like fine. I guess.
Oh, I thought it was Olaf too. I thought he was making a funny little reference to in the show Golden Girls. One of the characters always talked about her small town, and it was called Saint Olaf.
Saint
I
Olaf.
found out that's a real
Right.
town. That's like a real place. Yeah, it is, because I picked up some people while doing Uber, and they were talking about like their hometown of Saint Olaf, and I'm like Golden Girls. Yeah. So was it?
Well, there's a Saint Olaf College. Maybe there is a town.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. We should wrap this up.
I guess we should. I guess we're pretty off topic now.
Everyone. Okay. Just going down the line. Ben, you're promoting Slime and Punishment, right?
Slime and Punishment Kickstarter. Please buy my book. I made it really cheap. It's really big. It's a huge book. It's like 260 pages, full color, digital, black pages. Yeah. Right. These are not your daddy's pathetic white pages. These are full color black pages. It's big. It's got a laminated cover, and it only costs a meager $25. I used every trick in the book to make it cheap. Buy my book. Thank you.
Okay, and all right, Mimiyori, what do you got to promote?
Serendipitycomic.com is basically where you can read Serendipity, and it has links. It has little cute icons of my Patreon, my Twitter, Tumblr, all the social media you can find me at. If you join my Patreon, you get to see Serendipity early. You can read Extra Souls in full right now. I don't know. You said it will be out.
I actually might upload, because this podcast has the full explanation about the ending, so I might just upload it once you're done uploading all the comic. Maybe, depends on my mood.
Even if you already read it for free, you should give me $3 anyway, because it's good.
Mimiyori's comics are always good. Highly recommend them.
And that's basically it. Just go to serendipitycomic.com, and that's where you can find like all my shit.
All right, and
in one spot.
And Julian, my man, what do you want to promote?
Yes, if you are listening, please visit vqcd.in. It's my website where all of my cool stuff is.
Hell yeah.
I am
Cheesymanfredo.
Right,
you know, me Pagliacci's out. You can read Extra Souls now too, which is great. Gonna have working on the Myling Girlfriend physical books. Hopefully get those out by next month. And there's a bunch of other I'm working on 5 different comics out here, but you'll see those soon. And yeah, I think that's it. I think we're done here. Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for having me on too.
All right.
Bye now.
All right, I'm gonna stop recording.